Hello and welcome back to Puurs. We are here for the finals in Belgium. It is finals time and we've had a bit of a shock all the way through the semi-finals earlier on today. We have 9 male athletes making it through into the final stage here in Belgium. Domen Skofic in tied 8th, making him earn his place into the finals. But we also have 5 tied male athletes all the way back into qualifications. That's 5 athletes that have topped every single route so far here in Belgium, which means that they're going to be very aware of their timing as we move through onto their routes. You can probably hear the drilling going on behind me. The route setters are just tweaking the last few little things on the routes before we welcome the athletes out here into the introduction, the presentation, and they get their observation time. We'll be taking you over to that in just a few moments. In the women's, Kim Jae-in has the high point from the semi-finals with a 45 on her score. Below her we have Momoka Oda in second place and Mina Markovic in third. Now that is due to countback. They are split on a plus on the 44th hold due to the countback. So Momoka Oda in with a chance here of outperforming Mina Markovic if she can put in a good climb in the finals. It's going to be fantastic. Let's have a look at the start lists.
So hello and welcome back to this finals here in Puurs. I'm Sebastian Halenke, today the co-moderator, and I would like to introduce you to the finalists to you. With the first male athlete is Skofic Domen, very strong and young climber, good talent, has been in finals this year already a few times in the World Cups. Then there will be of the women Anak Verhoeven, also one of the very young athletes. After that coming Manuel Roman, one of the very strong climbers in the male category. Okay, just talking about the men, there will be after that Hyun Bin Min, very strong climber of Korea. Then Sean McCall, very good Canadian climber, followed by Magnus Midtbo, Romain Desgrange, Jakob Schubert, Sachiyama, and the last competitor who goes out on the wall of the men will be Romain Dublon.
So Sebastian, what is the main thing that you're looking for here? I mean, out of all of the ones that we've got that are coming through, you've got the 9 male athletes, the 8 female athletes. Where do you think the real excitement's going to come in this finals? What are going to be the high points?
Well, I think it will be first of all really interesting to see Domen Skofic, to see as one of the very young athletes, how is he able to show himself in this final. I think it's a very hard route, I have watched it. It looks, lots more athletic, has a few hard movements, and then compared to this, seeing the older athletes, the more experienced ones like Jakob Schubert or Ramon, I saw there's also one quite long movement on this route. I'm curious how he's going to do it. And well, for the female athletes, it will be also quite interesting to see, for example, Anak Verhoeven as one of the very young athletes. Again, compared, like for example, to Jain Kim or I don't know, Mina Markovic, Magdalena Rock, who didn't have so good finals this year. Maybe today will be her day. I would wish it to her. I think those are going to be the very, very interesting persons today.
Well, this is a really big thing for Anak Verhoeven. Obviously, it's the senior circuit, and she's made it through to the first big finals for her. Great results previously for Verhoeven on the juniors and the youth categories, but the first big one in the finals. I mean, already she's excelled her expectations.
Yeah.
So Anak Verhoeven's going to be one of our first athletes out after Domen Skofic. As Domen starts us off, we're going to be rotating, so it's men's first, then women's, and we're going to be going man, woman, man all the way through. So Domen Skofic starting us off, then on to Anak Verhoeven, Manuel Roman, Akio Noguchi, and so on and so forth all the way down. So the order of the female and the male athletes that you're looking at now will stay the same, but they're going to be split in between the men's and the women's. I'm going to be chatting to Christian in a few moments' time about the routes, what we're expecting to see here, but just from the look that you've had of them briefly now, Sebastian, if we were to start with the female finals, what's this looking like for you in terms of difficulty? Do you think it's going to be a power-based thing? Do you think it's going to be a more technical route?
Well, this time the female route has a very slappy start, So I think this start is going to be quite technical, and if they're doing too many mistakes, they might get pumped quite early in this route. And then on the roof, there are a few more dynamic movements again, which is quite nice to watch, I guess. And there it will be very power-based. I think maybe here you've got a few little rest positions, maybe even a little bit more than in semis, but it will be all in all also a very endurance-based route. I think the finals are looking very cool.
For the men's then on this other side, the red route that we're looking at here, you think this one, it's following a similar path as the female route earlier today. They've just replaced a lot of the holes here, but what do you think we're looking at here? There's a lot of larger holds, slopers there.
Yeah, I think this route, for example, is very, very power-based. It looks so cool. There is this one dynamic movement right in the middle. I think it actually looks like a jump from down here. And I'm curious how the athletes are going to manage this one. And then also all the rest up. There aren't any real good rest positions. Maybe some small ones where you can shake out your arms for a few seconds, but not a real rest position. So it goes straight up. You have to climb pretty fast, pretty aggressive, and quite power-based. They're looking quite interesting.
Well, we are just moments away from introducing the athletes to the audience that is gathered here now. It is a large audience. We have a huge crowd gathered outside the front now, and it's only going to pick up as we start to get underway with the rest of the event as well. They've been turning up since we finished at the semi-finals earlier today, and in a few moments' time we're going to be introducing our athletes. In fact, here is the first of our athletes, Domen Skofic. I will now hand you over to the local MC, who will talk you through the athletes and introduce them to the crowd. Well, look at the size difference there, for example, as you saw all the male athletes lining up, and Ramone at the end, just so much smaller. You can see the difference there between our experienced champion at the moment, Ramone, at the end. But I was just saying to you, Sebastian, we were talking just briefly about the spread of nationalities we've got in this final. It's a really nice mix of nationalities here. We've got, obviously for Belgium, we have Anak here. We've got a couple of Slovenian athletes, a couple of French, a couple of Austrian athletes, but then you've got like Norway, Russia, Canada in there as well, Korea, Japan.
Yeah, that's quite cool. There's a big variety here inside. It's a big mix. It's not like there were only Austrians or French climbers here. It's nice. It's really spread. So I think that's quite cool. It will be interesting also to see the different persons with their different styles in those routes. You will be able to see maybe also how are different persons and even different countries having their own styles, because sometimes it's quite visible. The Frenches are having sometimes quite similar styles as well, the Austrians. And I think this will be quite interesting to watch here tonight.
It's always interesting to see who pairs up with who as well. It's nice to see Dom in there going and standing next to Sean for a moment. That's not usually a pair that I'm used to seeing. You can see the two French athletes, and you'd expect that to be happening. There they are, and Mina Markovic and Kim Jae-in, I think that's just next to her. That's quite a frequent pairing, actually, and it baffles. I mean, I know that Kim Jae-in's English is getting a lot better, or it has recently, and it's nice to always see the two of them pairing up together, because when they first got together, they were just using hand signals to try and say what they were going to do, but they've always spoke to each other, the two of them. It's always nice to see Anak there with Ellen, the two younger athletes that are here in the finals. Ellen obviously is very used to doing this. Anak now getting excited for her first major IFSC final. Magnus next to Jakob, that's a traditional norm, that is, the two of them.
Quite common.
They're always
like
together.
They're always reading routes together.
And Ramone with Min Hyunbin there, the two of those two together as well.
And actually also going together of the size.
Yeah.
If you watch them, where it's not really going together is actually with Mina and Jain, because Mina's pretty tall and Jain Kim is pretty small, so it's quite funny they're going together, but it's nice.
You're talking about the size comparison, that it's nice to see the same sizes pairing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite common here.
The two girls are similar.
Yeah, they're pretty similar of their size.
I can see what you mean.
And Ramon and Hyunbin as well.
I wonder whether that's intentional or whether that's just a favoured person to speak to. I wonder whether it's intentional that as an athlete, if you were out there, would you seek out someone of a similar body structure to you or a similar climber to try and talk to them?
Well, I think that's also for each one different, but for me it actually is like that. I also try to read routes with persons who I expect they would do it a bit similar to me, but then also on the other hand it can be good to read the route with a person who is having a pretty different style than you. For example, I'm often talking to someone like Sachiyama as well about the route, because he has a different style to me, but then he also gets some ideas that I wouldn't have. So that's quite interesting way to read routes, then you can always find out.
Are you a similar height to Sachi though? You're around the same sort of height, the two of you?
Yeah, of height we are almost the same, I would say. I think it's pretty similar. Maybe I'm a little bit taller, but if yes, then not much.
Interesting to see as well some of the athletes that are on their own here. Magdalena Roak doesn't seem to be mixing too much at all. She's taking that time on her own. We had that incident recently, if you remember, with Cedric.
Yeah.
Who'd come out and he was on his own, like Sachi is now, running through the route that he was looking at ahead of him, and then realised after the observation period had finished that he'd actually been looking at the women's route.
Oh yeah,
he hadn't spoken to anyone else about it. He'd just come out and then completely mixed the two up. So it is always a good idea, I think, to blend with people on the ground and just check that you're looking in the right direction.
Yeah, and mainly if a route has the same entrance.
Yeah. Ellen taking a moment here on her own as well.
Yeah, sometimes it's also quite good to watch a route alone, because then you can be even more concentrated, more focused, mainly if you want to memorize the holds. Then it can be just nicer to take a moment just on your own, go through it, try to memorize it, for it to be able to analyze it as well in the isolation.
Momoka Oda and Kiyo Noguchi side by side here as well. No real surprise there.
No.
Two of them very used to competing with each other, on the bouldering as well as the lead.
Yeah.
Same team, travel the world together, so they're used to being side by side. I do like that there is a definite pairing between our world number 1 and number 2. This is not the first time that I've seen Kim Jae-in and Mina Markovic gravitate towards each other at this stage with the 6 minutes observation. They often end up standing side by side.
That's true. That's quite true.
And I do like that happens. Mina from Slovenia,
nice.
obviously, and Kim Jae-in from Korea, and this is the thing about the international language that we coined of climb mime.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to say you don't need to speak the language, you can just do it with your hand gestures.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see the climbers are not the big rivals, not the enemies. It's like a big climbing community, and that's still quite nice about climbing. I think it's something very good, because in other sports it's very different. They're more rivals and more some kind of enemies, but here in climbing it's not like that at all.
No, I've spoken to Sean McCall the other day, and at the qualifications actually, and he was saying a very similar thing. You know, we were talking about the climbing community in general, the athletes in particular, and that it's seen more of a competition with the route setters and the routes themselves than it is with the other athletes. You know, Sean was saying he'll get down sometimes and go back into isolation, and if someone's got a question and says, well, how was that bit, you know, he's more than willing to just start having a conversation with them about the route that they haven't climbed yet. You know, he'll get down and say, oh yeah, just don't do this at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That happens quite often. That starts at the youth and it even carries on at the male category, and that's nice.
So the athletes' 6 minutes are up. They will now move back into isolation before we get things started by bringing our first athlete out, who will be Domen Skofic today. In a few moments' time, I'll be chatting to Christian, who is our chief route setter here, about the routes themselves.
Als u goed kijkt, dan ziet u in het midden van de klimmuur een klokje hangen. En als u nog beter kijkt, dan ziet u dat dat op 8 minuten staat. Kijk, de volgspot staat erop. Waarom? Heel simpel, de klimmers hebben straks 8 minuten de tijd. Als ze binnen die tijd kunnen toppen, dan is dat fantastisch. Als ze voor die tijd naar beneden vallen, dan is dat minder fantastisch. Maar sowieso, na 8 minuten is hun tijd op. Ongeacht hoe hoog ze op dat moment zijn. 8 minuten is de maximumtijd.
So in a few moments' time, we'll be welcoming our first athlete, Domen Skofic, onto the stage, and this is the one that you, Sebastian, are looking out for the most, right? Domen's going to be the one to keep your eyes on through this competition.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to see how one of the younger athletes competes?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's also one of my big rivals of the youth, so it will be very interesting for me to watch him how he's doing in this route, and I'm wishing him best luck. I think he's a very great first-line climber as well.
Not long now then before we welcome out Domen, but while we are waiting for our first athlete to come out, I'm going to move over to talk to our chief route setter here, Christian Windhammer, who's been setting all of these routes over the past few weeks, getting prepared and then obviously setting them today for us as well. Christian, how are you?
Yeah, very fine, and I'm looking forward to see the girls and the men's climbing in the finals.
I thought the semi-finals went pretty well. Were you pleased with the semi-finals?
Yeah, I would say the women's did a little bit less good than we thought, and the men's did a little bit less better than we thought. So we did some little changements in the final rounds, and we hope that everything goes quite well now.
So you've reacted to the semi-finals and how the athletes are climbing today, and you've done some tweaking based on how they're looking in general.
Yeah, basically just very little things, but it could be the right things to have just one at the top, hopefully.
So starting us off with the female final route, then this blue route that we're looking at over here. I notice we're using a lot of these this particular style of holds, and we're using a lot of them on the male route as well. These sort of big slopers, these big like tiny little pockets inside as well.
Yeah.
What kind of style of route are we looking at here?
Yeah, the big slopers or the big elements are always important to have a more nice, interesting route. If you just have normal holds, it's a little bit boring and easy to read. So we always try to have a real on-site factor in the routes. So the athletes have to really to look in the 6 minutes how this route could work, you know. And still they have to react very fast if they thought it goes a different way when they are climbing. So this is basically a quite interesting element to do, not just easy holds, also volumes, to set a lot of volumes. We tried this in the women's route, of course, to have not too hard entry, but a little bit technical, and then it starts to get hard. You will have spectacular stuff around the big star in the big overhang, and in the end it will be a very selective route where hopefully the girls fall off on different moves.
So you're doing pretty much the same thing that we've seen for the semi-finals earlier, which is that you wanted to set a more technical start and progression, gradually getting harder and building up as we reach the star, and then quite a powerful finish.
Yeah, not directly the same, because it's more spectacular, this route now in the final. Same for the men's route. You will see a double dyno jump, so yeah, also for the athletes, it will be a little bit harder for them from the mental side if you have such things inside. We have not this double dyno in the women's route, but still it's an athletic move, so they have to go for the next hold. And yeah, I think the spectator will hopefully like the style of the route.
So stylistically, what we're looking at then, to clarify that one a little bit better, the stylistic choice of this one is that we're having the technical into an athletic and into a power section at the top.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay, and grading for this one, you've stepped it up a little bit more as well?
Yeah, I would say it's like a hard 8B, 8B B plus route, artificial of course. Like we talked in the morning, you cannot compare it with the cracks, you know. Yeah.
If you were to say if you were out on crags, you'd step it up to around an 8C maybe?
Yeah, I would say something like that. Yeah, from a stamina side, you know. Yeah.
But on competition, we're looking at an 8B plus for the female route here. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, let's have a quick chat about the male route over here. Then this is the red route that we're looking at on the other side of the wall. Again, a lot of these big holds and using a lot of sloper pockets on the way up to this midsection here. And then you got this nice section around the middle up towards this top section. This is where you're putting in the double dyno, right?
Yeah, that's right. You see on the grey boxes, you have side holds where it's not far actually, so it's not a really far jump, but it's a technical jump. You have to turn around with a full body and you have to go at least with two hands in the same time. So it's not far, so it's not hard for the smaller ones. That's what I always take care about, that it's just technical, not the distance is the limit, you know. And we hope this will work, of course, quite well. And then you have the grey box, which is also very nice, with just one hold on it, so you have to grab it with two hands. It will look also quite nice when you climb it. And then, of course, the finish gets more and more hard till the top part, you know. Yeah.
So you got this sort of slopery start into a very dynamic midsection. You know, even after that turning dyno, you've got the double dyno there. You've also got another dynamic couple of moves onto the box and over that next section there. And then towards the top, are we looking at a sort of power session or a technical session? What's the top end?
Yeah, the top end is actually a little bit you have to think about, because you don't see the foothold so well in the last part. So you have to remember where is my foothold, and you have a little bit not just really bad holds, they are quite bad, but you have to think also in the end that you cannot go to the last hold directly. You have to think about to take another undercut just to stabilize and then to get onto the box with the feet to do the last move. So this is hopefully the last sequence where just one climber will do, hopefully.
we got a nice tricky beater on the top then. You're just putting in
yeah.
something, get a little bit of spice at the end there to confuse it.
Just always just, I don't like so much to have it just really ugly hard, just to have also the ones which are already can think about something at the very top of the route.
Okay, Christian, I'm going to have to call it there. Just give me a rough grading on that one before we welcome our first athlete.
Yeah, I would say 8C. Yeah.
8C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means on the crack maybe it's 80 plus, something like that. Yeah.
Christian, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go and get settled with Christian. Cheers. And I'm going to hand you over now as we welcome Domin Skofic out onto the stage.
Let's get this party started, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome a man from Slovenia, Domin Skofic.
Here we are then with Domen Skofic coming out. Now this is the one that you're excited about, Sebastian. Obviously, he's a main rival of yours. What do you think about what Christian was just talking about, the male's route, the men's route? Then you are right. It is a double dyno halfway up the wall. That's a bit of a risky move for a setter to take on a finals. Do you not think?
Yeah, for sure, it's a really risky move, but it also makes it interesting to watch. And it's different than just endurance. You need more skills, you need coordination, you need a bit of maximal power. So I think that's actually a quite cool thing that there is some double dyno. And yeah, I'm curious how the finalists are going to handle this one, because it's quite uncommon. There haven't been lots of movements like this lately in World Cups. So we will see. I'm really curious. And I think this will be for sure one of the very hard movements for the athletes, because this jump is also not easy. It's not like to a jog or something. It goes really to, I think, two not so good holes. So,
and it's a
I'm
twist
curious
as well. That's the other thing.
Yes.
You know, you have to turn halfway through. We'll see that in a few moments' time when we get a little bit further up the wall. But for the moment, we're here with Domen, starting off on these slow pre-holds. So talk us through this first section here, then, Sebastian. As in, from your angle, are you seeing any potential problems in the first section towards the dyno, or you think it's going to be relatively straightforward?
Well, I think right now the place where Domen is like starting to be actually quite hard. Maybe here standing up it's still okay, but also the next movements are already very pumpy. And I think, well, he's quite flexible, he got up his legs very well. But if we are not so flexible, I think this would be really tricky. But I think then the rest of the movements until the jump are just pumpy more than everything else, not too hard. And I think then it will be just hard to do this jump when you're already a little bit pumped. Maybe your core power is already a little bit off. And about that I'm really curious, because I'm really sure Domen's going to reach that point, and I'm curious what he will do there.
Well, he's already stretching out here. He's just taking a moment to rest and shake the arms out.
Yeah, and well, it's still looking quite good. Even if he is already shaking there, I think it's not really because he's tired, it's just because he wants to secure a little bit his power.
Come on, Domen, come on.
And now we can see Domen right before the jump. He reached that point very easily, very quick. And now there will be the jump, and I'm very curious what he's going to do there. Right now he's still taking a little rest, then just one more hold, and then there will be this crazy hard jump.
And this is the moment for him then, isn't it? I mean, this is all or nothing really. If he manages to stick this, he only gets one attempt at it. This is on-sighting, remember, as well, so this is what we were saying. It's a risky move for the route setters to put this in here.
Oh no. Yeah, I think he tried to do it controlled, and that was his mistake. If he had done it as a jump, maybe he would do it. But I think this movement, you just can't do it controlled.
One of the things Christian just said to us, literally as we were talking through it a moment ago, was you have to go for this with both hands. You need to just go for it with both hands.
Yeah, if you just go with one hand, you are not able to hold it anymore. I think you would have to be very, very tall.
And that's a real shame for Domen, but we're going to leave him there and move over onto the other side of the wall straight away as Anna Verhoeven moves out for her climb in the women's final, her first ever IFSC senior final. And here we are now then, starting off on the women's route here, which is an 8B plus.
Yeah, it looks really hard, this route, and
very long.
Very, very long. It's
53 moves in total.
Yeah, it's going all over the wall. And I'm really curious about Anna Verhoeven, how she's going to manage this. Her very first final, I think it's also quite a lot of pressure.
She has the home crowd right behind her, but then of course you do get the pressure of a home crowd as well, because you know they're there, they're cheering for you, but you know you don't want to go wrong if it's the home crowd, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But I think she has got nothing to lose. It's her very first final. She's still so young. She will have so many more finals to go. So I think it's good.
Absolutely, she's already proved herself by getting to this stage now as well for them. 17-year-old Anna Verhoeven from Belgium. World rank 26th, World Cup rank so far this year 27th. Looking at previous achievements for her though, she's just won a European Youth Cup in Stavanger in Norway. This year she took the gold there in the female Youth A lead category. So bear in mind as you watch Anak start her climb here now as well, this young athlete is still at this moment in time competing on the World Youth circuit, the European Youth circuit as well. We saw her just recently over in Central Saanich where she took the silver medal. Very nearly took the gold as well. She tied with Jessica Pills, and it was due to countback that Anna Verhoeven didn't take home the gold medal, but she still took the silver.
Yeah, she was already a few times in World Youth Championships, so close to get the gold medal. And I think sometimes it was also just about the mind, that she was too nervous maybe in finals. She was already a few times very close to take it. I remember once, that was in Edinburgh in 2010, she already climbed the furthest, but she forgot one quick draw there. So they took her down and she was second, and that was so frustrating for her. I still remember she was so sad. But well, I guess those things happen. I think with more experience and more time in the adults, she will do great results there.
Well, she's now on the 11th hold, or she's just about to move out to the 11th. That's the 11th now with the right hand. This is, we're saying, quite a bit of a technical start as we move towards the first bend in the roof, the first kink. She's still on the vertical section at the moment. Long way to go yet. 53 holds all in all on this, an 8B to an 8B plus level difficulty route.
Yeah, and I think, just like I said, this slap, if you do it fast and effectively, it's not so hard, but you can waste a lot of power there. But so far she's going quite good in this route. It still looks very solid and relaxed. Let's hope she will get a good place on this route.
Belgische kampioene in haar allereerste wereldbekerfinale.
She's looking good here at the moment. She's looking very focused, not too stressed at the present moment in time. She is used to climbing under the pressure of a final crowd as well. She does frequently make finals at the World Youth Championships. We had a huge crowd over in Canada just recently.
Yeah, and I would say also one of her skills is that she has got lots of endurance from training here. I mean, she comes from close to here, goes climbing here in this gym, and I think this is a kind of advantage because she is used to this style, and I think she's going to use that, and that's gonna be good for her. And now starts the steep part of the wall, where the moves are becoming more powerful, a bit further. I think also some dynamic movements, and that will be quite interesting to watch.
She's taking full advantage of these two holds here, allowing herself a little moment to stretch. Four minutes left, so she's used half of her time. That was a lovely little move up there then, very secure. Despite the dynamic nature of it, now she's going to get into a really interesting section around this start. This is one you were talking about as well, Sebastian. You think we're going to see some really interesting climbing happening around this three-pointed star, yeah?
Yeah, now it's really getting interesting, as we just saw with this first already pretty dynamic movement, and I think there are going to come a few more dynamic movements just like this one. She's still being quite solid here. A bit pumped, I think, but not at the end of her possibilities.
Oh, this could be quite a big change here in a moment. After this move, now onto the next one. This could be quite a bit of a big move.
Yeah,
now.
the next one is definitely a pretty dynamic movement. I'm not even sure if it's also a jump.
I'm not sure how she's going to go for this one actually.
She'll have to
take
do
her
it
heel hook
really
off.
dynamic.
You think she's going to keep the right hand on the hold she's got there and then swing the left out?
Yeah, I think she'll try it like that. Yeah, that was strong. Amazing effort. She's having a very good run here. Already pretty far on the wall. And still she isn't too tired. You can see she has still got some power left. Really impressive climbing here.
Really utilizing the technical side of things as well, using those heels and the toe hooks whenever she can find them, stretching as often as she can. She doesn't look too pumped at the moment, though she is looking a little bit flustered in the face, so maybe she needs to just take a couple of moments when she can get them. She is utilizing those breaks as often as she can. You can see she is stretching out. She's still got time here. 2 minutes left on the clock and she's now up.
Wow, that was
Reaching
strong.
and doing exceptionally well here as well.
Really strong climbing.
That's the 38th hold she's on at the moment.
Moving right forward on this wall. She's already very high.
A lot of support from down on the ground here for the young Annick Verhoeven, 17-year-old athlete for Belgium.
Wow. That was a really strong climbing. Pretty far already.
Fantastic climb there. She was striking up there for the 39th hold, and you can see she just missed the where she was going on there. The route set is a very kindly, but a dash of chalk there, so you can see where you need to aim your hand as you're striking up, and she just missed it and just tried to hold on a little bit too long, I think, on that one.
Yeah, it was a pity. I think she could have climbed a few movements more, but it was already just like that. Such a great climbing. Really nice effort from her.
So 39th hold there for Annick Verhoeven out of 53 in total. She was well on her way towards the final section of the wall. A nice start for her. Domen Skovic and Annick Verhoeven now sitting in the leaders' chairs over on the main stage, where they will stay as we welcome the other athletes out now. We move over then to Manuel Ramon on the men's route. Now, this is a man who's very used to doing dynamic movements in the air, as he's used to throwing himself off cliffs.
Yeah, that's true. And well, he's also one of the very dynamic climbers. He has a very nice, effective style, and I think this route could be also more his style than the route before. With the jump, I think if he is not too nervous, he's going to manage doing this jump, and I'm very curious to see him up there. Already here, moving straight up, really fast, but too controlled.
Well, let's just hope we can see that that double dyno being made. Moving on
Yeah,
to the next
really
one.
hope
You can
so.
see there he has very little fear, Manu, of taking his feet off the wall and just swinging for things. You know, he is used to the dynamic side of things, used to being in the air.
En hij heeft iets te betekenen in de koers, want hij staat op dit moment op de derde plaats op de wereldbekerlijst.
Yeah, I think this movement is also not an easy one. Here, this block movement.
And he's one of the shorter ones as well, Manu. He's not a particularly tall climber.
That's true. And also, I'm quite curious to see his teammate Romain de Grange here, because also he is one of the very fast climbers, but I think he doesn't like so much those dynamic movements like jumps and so on. And I'm curious how this move is going to be for him, and as well for Ramon, as he's for sure the smallest one.
That's a very interesting point, actually. I don't know if I've seen Ramone do dynos before or jumps like that. I'd put him as a quite a static climber.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I was saying to you before, you know, he's a very defensive climber. You know, if he doesn't feel comfortable about that next move, he'll faff around a while, climb back a couple of moves, climb forward again, and until he's completely secure and comfortable, he will wait, and he can use some of his energy sometimes. He's a very cautious climber.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
This is a big risk, this jump here.
Yeah, and this won't work on that route. Either he will jump or he's just going to fall down, and I think he won't really like that.
Especially considering he doesn't have the height. You know, if you were a really, really tall climber, there might be a chance you could really lever yourself into the wall and maybe try and get one hand on there. I mean, it would be an impressive thing to do, but...
And now we just see him right before the jump. He looks a bit nervous.
See, now that's what I thought with Domin. I thought, why isn't he getting his feet up in there? Because Domin's still using the red hold.
Wow.
And there you are.
That was a nice jump.
Fantastic effort there from Manuel Roman. Two hands, you can see there, is exactly what Christian was saying. You got to use both your hands to get over onto that one. You got to trust in the jump. Turn as you go. This next move up onto the block as well is a nice one.
I think this dynamic movement is so scary. You really have to go for it. And now also the next part of the route is just carrying on so hard. Already the next movement.
Another big one here, all onto the power, using the shoulders. He's trying to get a heel or do something from this point on.
Wow. This is really a bouldering crux here.
Yeah, that split on the block there really is no other way of doing that one, you don't think? You know, it's literally going to be one hand on one end, one hand on the other end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like that. Otherwise, you are not able to do it. I would love to try this route. It looks so awesome.
Really,
it looks
really
so much
tricky.
more my style than all the qualification routes.
Well, how are you all doing, guys? What are you thinking of the routes that we've seen so far? We've seen quite a bit of both of them now. Not all the way to the top yet there, and I'm sure there's plenty more surprises in store as we move further on. If you want to get in touch with either myself or Sebastian, I am joined by Mr. Sebastian Halenki of Germany. And he'll be with me all the way through the finals here. If you want to aim a question at either of us, get in touch with us on Twitter using the hashtag IFSCWC. That's IFSCWC. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know where you're joining us from and what you're thinking of these routes so far today. We're now with Akio Noguchi out on this route then. So she's going to have a bit of fun around the midsection here, isn't she? This is the more bouldery section of the wall.
Yeah, that's true. I think the bouldery section will be really her style. And then I'm curious if up there on the wall her endurance will be enough. But I think the bouldery movements, she's going to do them easily with her strength. And also she is one of the persons who are having a really nice climbing style. Very fluent as well. And for me it's really fascinating. She comes from bouldering, but through in such a short time she always gets so strong in lead climbing. I think not many persons are really able to do this. One of them is also Sean, they call it the man category, but there are not many like them.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you're quite frequently climbing lead at the same time as well, you know, like Mina will go and do other lead competitions and
Yeah, Mina as well.
come across
sure.
while the bouldering season's still happening on, and you know, unless you're doing that frequently, it is a big change, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
There you
It's a
can
very
see,
different discipline. You cannot compare it so good.
see some of the crowd there then. There's Thomas Ravenel of Chile, you can see just sitting in the background, watching on. Nice packed crowd here down at the venue in Puurs as Akio starts her climb. So Akio then in the semi-finals earlier today, we saw her doing some really fantastic climbing, but it was just the endurance we think that just got in the way for her there.
She climbed so good, so solid, until the point she just got pumped and then she fell. And I think she just used her possibilities very good. And let's hope she will do the same here. But I think this route is going to be even more her style than the other one. It's quite long, but it's even more bouldery, I would say.
Well, Akio is second on the world rankings for bouldering at the moment. She also came second in the overall World Cup rankings this year, just behind Anna Stor. Well, Anna Stor has just dominated the entire season this year. I say just behind. There was 200 points difference. 200 points difference. That's 2 gold medals of a difference between Akio Noguchi and Anna Stor. Anna's had an incredible year, but Akio still, though, very frequent owner of the second place spot, and she's been holding on to that for quite a few years. The interesting thing to note then is in lead as well, she's world ranked 12th, and currently on the World Cup rankings for this year, she's 10th. So she's holding a pretty good position in lead as well as bouldering, this young athlete from Japan, 24 years old.
Yeah, Anna Stor this year was extreme, was really dominating.
Yeah, she dropped
her
one
category.
competition out of the entire season.
Only one, and in this one she was
that one she was second. Yeah, she took a silver medal at the other one.
So crazy.
Yeah, she has just been unstoppable so far this year.
And the funny part is that was the one in Innsbruck where she's coming from.
The hometown,
Yes.
yeah. I think that's a sore point for her. I'm not going to mention that one to her. Akio then will obviously be
She's
keen
still
to-
looking so
to-
relaxed.
to get onto the lead season as we move later on in the year, when we go over to China. We get the bigger contingent turning up from Japan, from China and from Korea that'll be able to come across. She's warming up towards the section when we go over there as well later on in the year. We also have Mokpo coming up a little bit later on as well over in Korea.
And here in this part of the route you can also see she's just got so much power. Like, that's really coming from bouldering. She doesn't have troubles with any of the movements.
You know, that move there was the big move that we saw with Anak, that we
Yeah.
were saying, how is she going to get there? And Akio, because it is so boulder orientated, she's just very easily just swung out for the next
Yeah,
move.
for Akio it was looking so relaxed.
No stress there,
Very
you know,
solid.
she's using one hand, one foot to hold the place, a heel hook on here.
I think from her we are going to see now a new high point on this route, if everything goes normal.
Again, she doesn't look pumped at all at this point, but we did see it come on quite quickly earlier on today. It didn't seem like she was too bad, then all of a sudden there was a bit of a shaking going on there and she came down.
Also here still looking so fresh. She's having an awesome go here. And her getting the right way. Whoa.
So this is the new high point then. We have moved past the that move that she just had the heel hook near. That's the dash of chalk we were talking about that Anna was striking up for a moment ago. She's spinning into a drop knee there. She does like her drop knees.
Yeah,
Akio.
that's true. She's doing lots of drop knees, even in bouldering competitions. And in bouldering competitions, that's quite uncommon. You are not often able to do them.
Well, unfortunately, that was Akio striking for the 44th hold, so that's a 43 plus for her. It still moves her into the lead here. She'll be moving over and taking a seat on the leader's chair, swapping with Anak now in a few moments' time. So Akio now in the lead. We get ready for our next male athlete to come out and join us on the stage here, which is Min Hyun-bin.
Also here already interesting to see Min Hyun-bin as the one of the very tiny athletes in the male category. So I'm curious about him. How is he going to manage the jump? But I think it's actually his style. If he doesn't do a mistake, he should go quite solid through this movement. I'm very curious to see him.
Well, there you can see he's just taking a brief look at where he's going from, up towards the dyno there and onwards. And you think this is going to be more his style? You think this is going to be something he's going to be quite capable of and more comfortable with, like you saw from Manu?
Yeah, I think, well, maybe the jump, he will also be a little bit scared about it or nervous about it. but it's actually more his style because he is one of the more dynamic climbers. He's a very powerful climber, and he also is bouldering very strong, as you said before in semifinals. So this should be his style, this route. And I'm hoping to see a new high point maybe from him.
Well, Min had that gold medal last year in Mokpo. We have Mokpo coming up again this year in a little while over in Korea. Gold medal there, and also recently this year took the bronze medal at the men's bouldering Asian Continental Championship in Tehran in 2013. He's also won that Asian Continental Championship way back in 2010 as well. So a couple of gold medals there for him. He's world ranked 7th. He's currently 7th on the World Cup rankings for this year, and he's our 7th place athlete in this competition. So he's definitely climbing based on his standards at the moment. He's really fitting in with the seed there. Nice and convenient.
That's true. Well, let's hope in this final he will improve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking very good and solid here. I think he's liking those movements.
We have seen some early falls from Min before. Some surprise falls. But then he has also the capability of going straight the way to the top and surprising you that way as well. We saw him putting in a fantastic performance in Imst just recently, where he came 4th overall.
Yeah, that's true. And last year in Mokpo, he had such an awesome climbing there.
He's really trying to pace himself already. He's not actually that high at the moment. He's we're looking at a 57 move route at an 8B plus, sorry, an 8C level difficulty. And this is the competition grading. So you know you're looking at an 8C plus. If you're talking about crags, according to one of our route setters, our chief route setter here, but he's currently only, he's just moved up to the 24th hold, and there's 57 all in all, so he's got quite a way to go yet. He's really taking his time, he's trying to pace himself as best as he can. He's got this dyno coming up, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to get this move right.
Now getting closer to the jump. Taking a little rest there.
And he's been doing this all the way. He's been really pacing himself. It's going to be interesting though, because when he does that double dyno, straight away the next move is extremely hard as well. It's almost like the route setter's joke to the climbers. It's like, you know, okay, so you've done that one, but it's just going to get harder from here on.
Yeah, it's from there it always gets harder and harder.
Now the success we saw here from Manu came from moving that right leg across more. You got to have the confidence of getting the leg over onto the grey volume to be secure in your push-off. Otherwise it's trailing behind you, it's dragging you back, and there's a higher chance of missing it.
Yeah, I'm curious how he's going to do it, or how he will try to do it. I hope he's able to do it.
At the moment he wants to keep that leg there. You can see he keeps trying to take it off and then no, putting it back there again. Here we go, this is what we need then.
Oh no.
One hand.
Trying the same as Domen before, and it doesn't work out.
One hand. Now this is exactly what Christian said as well. You've got to go for this with 2 hands. If you don't go for it with 2 hands, it isn't going to happen. And he's been true to his word so far. That's what we've been seeing.
And it really frustrates them because they still feel fresh, they feel comfortable with themselves, and then something like that happens. It's horrible, but I think it's good if this style increases, because then the persons have to climb more aggressive and they have to move forward. I think it's going to be a good improvement for the sport if some things like this happen more often. and also the climbers will get used to it.
What's the excitement of the crowd seeing it as well? I mean, you know, there's a lot of people that might have issues with it being on a lead route when you've got a big double dyno like that. It's tricky, but it does put on quite a show. It is an aspect of climbing. You know, it's a huge part of bouldering. It's a massive part of bouldering. You get dynos left, right, and centre. They're coming out of our ears in the bouldering discipline. But very rarely do we see it. I don't think I have for a long time. Maybe towards the start of one lead comp, maybe last year I saw a dyno, but like that's the last time I did, especially a difficult one like this with a turn that high up off the ground.
Yeah, that's true. It's not common. But I think, it would be nice if that happened more often from now.
Ellen is looking pretty eager to go here. She started quite fast. 19-year-old athlete, world rank number 5. Currently World Cup ranked 3rd. We were talking about her earlier, saying that she is again, you know, not that she wasn't on a fantastic point and standard last year, but she's again stepped it up again this year.
Yeah, she's really strong this year. Let's hope she has back her self-confidence and just moves forward. I think she's pretty good, able to get here a podium. I think it doesn't really depend on her physical aspect, it's just all about the mind. She's also one of the very fast and fluent climbers here. Technical, very varied. Normally doesn't do mistakes.
So you think this route's going to suit her style? When we get to the bouldering section in the middle, you think she's going to be able to handle that relatively easily?
Well, I think she should be able to handle that one. She's not really the bouldering climber, she is more elite climber, but I think those movements shouldn't be too hard for her. If she's just moving forward and she isn't scared of them or afraid to fail, then I think she's going to do good. And then right up on the wall, on the last movements, she has got the big endurance abilities. Which should use her a lot on that wall.
Ellen was 18th at the end of the European Youth Cup rankings at the end of 2010. Since then, she's started to make this serious name for herself on the senior circuit as well. 3rd at the Women's Lead European Youth Cup in Ekaterinburg in Russia this year. Made finals 6 times in 2012. Then had the first place, the gold at Briançon. Then came 4th at Chamonix 2012, 5th at Puurs and Zinning last year, 6th at Atlanta last year, 7th at the World Championships in Paris, and made the final at the World Championships. And bearing in mind that all this, and after all of these events, she was still competing in the juniors category at the European Youth Cups, and she's also a former World Youth Champion in Edinburgh 2010, several gold medals on the EYCs. Really carving a career for herself now as a threat to the podium to a lot of the other more experienced female athletes.
And she's still looking quite relaxed here. Ooh, her arm being a bit shaky.
The left, it looks like the left at the moment. The right looks
true.
Pretty.
She looks a little bit nervous, I think. Whoa, that was risky.
Again here, this is not quite the way that we saw Akio going about it.
No. I don't know, I think she's just a little bit unconfident about herself. She doesn't look so relaxed as normally she does on the routes.
No, she's got a definite shake going on in the left leg now. She's definitely started to get pumped. You can see the adrenaline going through her now.
But it's for sure not about her fitness.
No, absolutely. But you can see, look, she's taken that left leg off, and she was stretching it out ahead of her just to try and give it a little bit of a shake out there. That left leg was really going on her then. And again, it's that left arm as well. She's going to have to just pace herself here as best as she can. Try and keep it under control. Rest as often as she can.
Oh no.
And no.
Yeah, I think here in this route, this was for sure a mental problem. I was having the feeling already since qualifications or semifinals, she didn't really get into the competition of her mind. And well, I guess those things can happen. I think also Arco just a little bit ago frustrated her a lot, so this is mainly a mental point. I know this quite well because those things happen to me sometimes as well, just like right now.
Don't I know it? I come and find you after a competition sometimes and you're just like, oh, it was awful, I didn't like it, and this, that and the other. You can definitely see that Ellen is one of the ones that does get affected by the mentality, definitely.
Yeah.
You see her come down, you know straight away if she's had a good or a bad run. It's all over her face, and you can see there she was not happy with that one at all.
Yeah, for me that's quite understandable because I'm a pretty similar type in this way.
Well, Sean joins us now then. He had his first gold medal on the bouldering circuit this year. This is well within his capability and his technique and style. So, you know, this is bouldering and lead combined, which is exactly where Sean excels.
He should really like that route. I hope him moving far up on this route. And I think he will also take the risk because he's anyway a quite risky climber. He's not afraid of taking risks, so I think this route should be really his style.
And again, he's started with this really fast
Yeah, he's so fast inside of that route.
beginning. I mean, this is becoming kind of part of his style all of a sudden at the moment. He's really like hammering on the gas when he goes for this one. And he did the same thing in the semi-finals, and I said, you know, this that risk of getting too pumped too quick. He didn't get too pumped too quick, but there was a point at the end where you could tell he'd overdone it at the earlier section when he went up for that left arm in the semi-finals and struck up with the right. He didn't quite get enough pull on the left arm to get him up there. And he's going to need to reserve some energy here. He's an exceptionally strong climber, but there is a limit to how fast you can go on these things.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
he has got so much maximal power here.
That was a little bit more controlled there. There are, I think that Sean is one of those climbers that has certain points that he wants to reach on the wall. You know,
Yeah.
that he will rush through the first section, not think about it very much, because he knows I've got to get to that point because that point's the point where I've got to do this. And so he's more focused on a point higher on the wall, which means that he thinks less when
Yeah,
he's going
he's-
through the first section, which I think is actually to his advantage.
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
stress
taking
over
the
it.
route step by step,
Yeah.
not all in one, and I think that's quite important because you cannot take the whole route, you just have to do it in sections.
And he's already there. He's already had the confidence to take his foot away from the red. This is interesting to see what
I
he's
hope
doing
he's
here.
not going to try it like this.
I don't know. I think he might. You know, he needs to get his feet up a little bit higher now, and he needs to get two hands on there. He's going back to the red. See, now he's doubting himself. Now he's doubting it. He's got to get that foot has to come back off there again. This is an awkward position to be in, Sean.
Oh my goodness, I think this is very... Wow!
Unbelievable. I did say somebody might have the strength to do it. Unbelievable.
That was really unbelievable.
Wow, just the power of him.
Really nice.
Unbelievable.
Really strong, really strong. What the shoulder power here.
But let's just hope he hasn't blown it with overdoing it this early section. And he needs to do this. He has to put this power in here. It's the route there is designed that you have to use a lot of energy on these next 2 or 3 moves here. But is
But
he going to have
honestly,
enough?
I don't have the feeling that so many climbers are going to get over those movements. I think if he gets a few movements further, he will get a really good place in this competition. So strong.
He put on a fantastic show for us there, but I don't know what exactly he was intending to do from that point there. He looked like he just kind of went, no, I'm not going to make it. It looked like he knew that.
Yeah, I
that
think
jump
he was
wasn't gonna
already a bit tired, but also this movement, the next movement there was so hard. I think this is for sure an 8C plus route.
happen. I was shocked when he first said it, but okay, if you're saying you're backing him up on that one, you think it's an 8C?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an 8C plus. And I honestly said, don't believe this route is going to get any top. It's so hard.
Well, let's have
I
a
would
look.
like to see some top there.
Let's
but
have a look at
it's
who.
crazy.
Let's have a look at who could potentially get there. Who we think out of these that we still have yet to come could be the one to challenge us there. As we move over onto the women's route now, we welcome Dinara Fakhrudinova onto the fray. Just having a look at the male athletes. Still left to climb then. Magnus Midtbo will
might also like
definitely
this.
have the power here that's
Yeah.
capable to get him through, especially that wide compression on the block.
Yeah,
He's
for
got
sure.
the shoulder strength to do that if he can make the dyno, but then he's predominantly a lead climber and not so much a boulderer. Is he going to be comfortable making the dyno? Ramon de Grange, as you were saying, is a more static style climber.
Yeah, I think for him it won't be really his style.
Then you've got Jakob, and Jakob, a boulder climber. This could be really
It could be his
suited to
style.
him.
Yeah, it could be his.
But then
We'll
again,
see.
there's the danger of getting over pumped. Then you have Sachi Ama, so I'm not sure how Sachi's going to go.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about this jump for him. I think he won't really like it.
And I'd love to see Ramone just come out and just own this route. I'd love to see
Yeah,
him come out at the
That
end.
would be awesome. I hope he's going to go for this jump, and I hope he will make it.
I think that's all it is. I think it's the confidence for Ramone, somebody who is used to being a more defensive climber, a very careful climber. He likes to, obsess over the next move,
Yes.
and he's gonna have to just go for it on this one.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
will
gonna
really
be
have
the-
to go for it.
That's going to be the change. You can see Sean there talking to Akio down on the ground. In the background, our producer, Mr. Johnny Rhodes, the cheeky smile on his face.
Yeah, I think Sean should be quite happy about his climbing. It was an awesome go there. And I think this might be enough for podium.
Yeah, looking at the next few athletes, I mean, Magnus could definitely put on a show. I really hope Ramon de Grange comes out and does go for it, but I know what you mean when you think more of a static style climber, which is also kind of what I think of Sachi, although he has done some bouldering, Sachi.
Yeah.
But recently as well, actually.
I think they're all able to do this movement, but it's also more about if you dare to do it, if you really go for it. If you're scared of doing it, you are probably going to fall, just like it happened to Domen and to Hyen Bin.
They're trying to rely on the one hand to move across there, and you just can't. You have to go with the full
Yeah.
body. Well, you can apparently because you're McCall. The interesting difference, though, there was when you're thinking about Domen, who struggled, and Min Hyen Bin, who was reaching out with the one hand. It was a reach
Yeah,
with the one hand, whereas Sean's was a jump with the one hand. The
Yeah.
confidence to go for it, even though he didn't put the second hand on, was there. Once
Yeah.
once he'd said, "Okay, I'm
he
going to
was
jump,"
just
now.
going for it.
Yeah, once he said, "Okay, I'm going to jump," he did go
Uh-huh.
for it. Whereas we saw Domen and Min being a little
They
bit
didn't
reluctant.
really go for it. They were wanting to control it still, but this movement is not possible to control. You just have to go for it and not thinking about if you could fall there, because you could always fall on that movement, even if you're super strong.
Now, Dinara coming out for us then, our current European champion. This route for her, I think the bouldering section should be interesting. We were saying earlier she's obviously been training with Dimitri Sharafutinov. Her bouldering style should have improved. She didn't have too great a run earlier on today, but it was still enough to see her through here now to this stage of the competition. Let's hope that she's able to manage the bouldering section, because I think once she gets past that, she's one of those athletes that has the potential to possibly start pushing forward through the latter section of the
Yeah,
wall.
for sure. She has the ability to climb, also very tired, quite a long time. And she's got lots of power.
Okay, so this is the bouldery section now Dinara's getting into. This is a relatively big move.
Yeah.
It's great
Also for her.
great to watch Akio do this one though. It just looks so simple.
And also she is one of the smaller athletes here, so I'm curious about her. She will really have to do it dynamic and aggressive. Yeah.
And she gets it. Took
That
the
was
time
a
as well,
good
you
one.
noticed to look there before she struck out
Wow.
with the hand.
She's having such a good core power. Watching her clock. I
Do
think
you
she's
climb with the
still-
watch?
No, no, I don't climb with the watch because when my forearms get pumped, I'm always scared that this might be just destroying me somewhere. I think it's not so good.
Do you mean distracting? It's going to be distracting to you, or?
Or yeah, disturbing there.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Because if you are getting too pumped and your
Uncomfortable.
arm gets swollen, it might be really uncomfortable. I'm always a bit worried about that.
I'll get you a stretch watch.
Sorry?
I said I'll get you a stretchy watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be better maybe. Well, actually, Canada was the first time that I got a timeout. You remember in the qualification?
That happens to even the greats at this stage. We saw Jakobs having timeouts. We saw Kim Jae-in in Imst have a timeout as well.
I normally don't have timeouts, but well, there just took too much time.
Well, at the moment, 2 minutes 40 roughly left on the clock for Dinara. She's moving at a pretty good pace, considering that she's still got, you know, towards 3 minutes left, and she's
Still looking
right up
so
into
good.
the upper section of the wall. I mean, she's around. She's currently just got a hand onto the 38th hold here at the moment. That's the 39th just above her, which is where we lost Anak. You can see Dinara trying to feel for it as well, as you're saying. One of the shorter athletes. She's bypassing it
Oh,
and going for the next hold instead. She's going for the 40th. Incredible flexibility as well.
and I think there she has got actually the wrong hand on that hold. Let's hope it won't be causing her some troubles. Yes, very good. Really
So
strong.
completely ignoring the 39th there. You know, thought it was a heel hook even as she was going there. Now she's now using it as one.
Wow.
Not even really using it.
Whoa. I think now getting pumped. I think those movements are really hard.
Again, that was the 43rd to the 44th move, which I think that was around where Akio was it not? Is that the exact same form?
Yeah, it's exactly the same movement where she fell.
Which means that Dinara now moves on to the leader's chair at the
Yeah.
moment. Akio moves out, so that's good news for her. With only 4 athletes still yet to come, we've got Magdalena Roak, Mina Markovic, Momoka Oda, and Kim Jae-in. There is a chance here Dinara could be in for a medal. I mean, this is, as you're saying, that's the point where you're going to get really, really pumped up there.
Yeah, for sure. And also, this pocket is so round. It's not any way positive. It's so hard.
Quite slopey as well, quite a negative donut there on that one. It looks better than it is because of the
Yeah.
angle of the wall that we're looking at here is very, very increased by that level. You're almost
Yeah.
onto a roof section there. With that negative hold, there's not much to go on at all.
No, for sure. You need lots of core power there for this movement.
So Magnus Midbo for Norway comes out onto the stage then. This is the one that we said should have the power to go at this one. He's been climbing very well over the past 2 days. He's looking in a very good form and shape. He takes to the wall now.
Yeah, he's also one of the very powerful climbers who do have the potential to get very high on that wall on this route. Also moving straight forward pretty fast, very confident.
Yeah, he is moving pretty fast actually. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
this has been a discussion with Sean and the other boys that they've said, you know, you got to just get to that first section. You can take a rest there, just get there.
Yeah, he almost looks like Sean there.
Yeah, it's got the same sort of frantic energy.
Die bereikte zijn hoogtepunt. Of toch minstens één van de hoogtepunten. een paar maanden geleden op de Wereldspelen in Cali, waar hij de bronzen pakte.
Magnus with his, it was the first top for us in the male athletes earlier on today. He's one of 5 athletes that all have straight tops through from the qualifications to the semis and now as they move into the finals. We have Magnus Midbo, Ramon de Grange, Jakob Schubert, Sachiyama and Ramon Julien Poublanc all have straight tops in this competition. So that might be another reason that they're all climbing fast. We said earlier, and I can't believe it's taken me until now to remember that it's going to be about time.
Yeah, that's true.
They're all trying to put in the best performance in the fastest possible time because we can't go to countback.
Yeah, that's true, that's quite true. But I think they're mainly climbing fast here because they know they have to get fast. They shouldn't waste any power until that jump because they know this jump is going to be very hard. Magnus just looking a little bit shaky there.
He was a little bit earlier on as well. I'm not sure whether it's just the adrenaline or whether it is him actually starting to get pumped now. His forearms don't look too bad at the moment.
Well, maybe he also didn't feel so comfortable in this one movement, and
you can see there that the right leg's really starting to give then on him. There again, look, you can see he's starting to twitch.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got to move that leg across before he makes this jump. Before he goes for this one, he's got to swing that leg across. He's going to drag you back.
Oh no.
And that's exactly what I mean. Now he's got the power to hold that jump. And he's got the power to make the next move as well. But if you leave that right leg on that other hold, it's a lack of confidence for one. And the other thing is that you're keeping yourself or a part of your weight further over to the right-hand side, and it's just dragging them back off the wall. We saw it happening with Domen when he went for it, but still had the foot there. And the same thing again with Min. Min was a little bit less confident, dragging the weight back. In fact, I think Min did move the foot across eventually.
Yeah, he did move it.
He went back again and then came back and was changing it, but you've got to move that foot across before going for that jump.
And I think he got indeed a little bit tired on that part where he was shaking. He didn't look very fresh anymore.
I know exactly what you mean. You can definitely see a shake settling in there, but it's surprising. It would be surprising to me for Magnus to be that shaky this early on, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
He's used to the long climbs. He looks a little bit exhausted there as we welcome Magdalena Roek to the stage, but not too bad.
Magdalena moving well inside of the slab. Had a quite good climb in semifinals, but not perfect. I think maybe a bit less than she expected. She could do more, but for that it's time in finals now. Let's hope she will climb straight forward here with good and old confidence, just like in qualifications before. And then she will be for sure able to achieve a very good placement here.
Is 19 and she is the winner of the World Youth Championships earlier this year. She climbed herself into the finals at the World Cup stage in East.
Also for her, it's going to be interesting to see how she will do those more dynamic and powerful movements, as she is one of the shorter athletes as well. But for sure, she will have enough power to go for it.
Well, while we are watching Magdalena as she just starts off on the wall here, I thought I'd come over into the leader's chair area of the wall and have a brief chat with Sean. How was that?
That was very unexpected. I don't know, I mean, I guess they said it as a double hand dyno, kind of what Magnus tried, and I know Magnus had the right thought going on in his head, because I know we all previewed, or most of us previewed, kind of collectively that we would cross under, kind of the way I did it, and go across, kind of like as I did it, and it was hard because like I don't know if you guys remember, but me in the semifinals, like I really screwed up the middle sequence. I ended up doing a 360, which is very thinking like a boulderer, like to cross under like that, to face the crowd and do a 360. That's a really bouldering mentality, and I was like, I screwed up. It's an error. And so here I was like, they're not going to set a jump like in the middle of a route, so I'm not thinking about that at all. So I'm like, okay, stick to the plan, right? Stick to the plan, right? So I cross under, and then obviously the move where I went out, and then my right arm blew, and then I was like, I'm going to fall. And then I didn't fall, and I was like, oh my god. And then I started on the swing back, and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to fall on the swing back. So I look back towards the other hold, I managed to get it, and then I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to fall because I don't have my feet on the wall. And I was like, the whole time I thought I was going to fall for 5-6 seconds until I did the move where I crossed under, and then I got the undercling, and then I was like, okay, now I think I'm good. And then the next section, super physical, big moves, and I just got really pumped. I couldn't recover any on that little undercling rest. I got the draw, and I was like, oh man, like I'm going to fall in the next, hopefully 5 to 10 moves. Turned out to be, 3. And yeah, I climbed 2 more moves. I got the undercling. And then I looked up, I knew the next hold was really far. I knew for sure I'd get the plus, so I jumped for it to make sure I got the plus, and I actually touched the hold, and it's a jug. So knowing that, yeah, maybe I should have really tried to stick it, because maybe there's a chance I would have even stuck it, but I was really happy with my performance, and I think if I tried that route again, knowing the double hand dyno, maybe I'd get further, but I'm really happy with how I climbed it.
So you're saying that last one that you actually came down on a moment ago was actually a jug. You could have got a good purchase on that one?
Well, yeah, if it had been written jug underneath it with an arrow, maybe I would have stuck the move.
Come on, Sean, you got to spot these things.
I know, but I knew the route was going to be hard. I know there's 5, starting with Magnus, and the next 4 climbers are all tied. The route's going to be really hard. It was very hard, and
Just briefly to wrap up, I want you to tell me a little bit about the compression move afterwards, the big block there straight after the jump. What's that like?
Well, the one on the right of the volume is actually a little bit better than I anticipated, at least. But then as I looked up, it's actually really far. Like the span across the blocks is like, I would say like 4 feet, which is what, 1.2 meters, 1.3, I don't know meters. Yeah, it's about 4 feet.
You have to have a wide 8 for it.
And so yeah, you have to be. And then I was extended, and then I got a little heel look. I rested my right arm for a sec, and then I realized right away, okay, well now I can't rest my left arm. Better keep going. So you go do the next move. You put in the heel look, and you're always constantly thinking, can you rest both arms? So I give quick shakes. Eventually you have to get the quick draw. I got the quick draw, and then I was like, okay, I just got to keep going. And don't think Magdalena is going to be very happy with that.
That is an early fall there. It's one of the earliest in fact, that is the earliest that we've seen so far today. And that's going to be interesting. I'll talk to Sebastian about that in 2 seconds' time. Sean, thanks for the quick catch-up. So you think that it's kind of almost cruel of the route setters, really. You've got this double dyno, massive risk move. You're already pumped with adrenaline. Then you're onto a massive compression, really wide 8, and onto a next sequence of moves that's going to get you really pumped before you get into the hard athletic point at the top.
It's yeah, I mean everything you said, and it's definitely just hard. And like I was just thinking in my head, yeah, I wish the route setters would have written on the wall, like jump. But that's all about problem solving. We have the preview obviously, and so we got to look at those things, and it's going to slow a lot of climbers down. Are they going to choose to really figure it out, get all the technical aspects of it, or are they just going to say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to jump for it, and if they get the jump, then they save a lot of energy, and so it's all part of the game. Really, it's all part of the game, and
it was good, Sean. It was a fantastic climb. You should be proud of it, and you're currently sitting on the leader's chair. There's not that many left to come. I wish you all the best, and I'm hoping that I'm chatting to you a little bit later on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. I'm going to pass back over to Sebastian then and talk us through that section just with Magdalena. That was a really early fall there.
Yeah, it was an early fall, a bit unexpected, but she was looking a little bit unconfident right before there. It was a bit strange, but I think she won't be happy about it. Let's hope will go better for her in the next competition. But for me, it seems a little bit as if she was kind of a bit blocked here in this final.
So yeah, you think that was a confidence thing for Magdalena? Maybe just not in the right mindset for it, and unfortunately just cost her that there, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. It was looking like that for me. Because for sure she does have the fitness and as well the power to do all those single movements.
Well, we're well over halfway, guys. It's had a lot of excitement already. Then with this, the men's route is insane. That's
Yeah.
I think probably the best word to describe it. It's,
For
it's
sure.
insane. The women's route, really nice bouldery section there that actually just cost Magdalena her climb. And I'm looking forward to seeing the last, say, 10 moves of the female route as well, because we've seen up to about 47. You can physically see, but it actually goes to 57. There's a huge section at the front of the wall that we actually can't see where we're sitting at the moment. We're waiting for the cameras to show us it. And I'm looking forward to seeing that one as well. But here is Ramon de Grange, and this is the one that we're saying we're hoping he's going to have exactly what Sean was saying. You've just got to go for it. We're hoping he's going to have.
Yeah, let's hope he will have
The
enough
mentality to do
confidence
that.
here and just go for it. I think here the sloper is getting a little bit slippery with the chalk, so it's a bit uncomfortable now for the later athletes here
The
in
one
this
with the
male
right
route.
hand, this one here.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
that one.
I suppose the adrenaline must be just going a lot more anyway because they know the jump is coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
Sean was mentioning as well then that we have got those 5 athletes tied. They need to be aware of the time, and that might put a lot of pressure on, say, someone like Ramone and Sachi. Although you were saying actually you think Sachi's a fast climber.
Yeah.
Which I'll have to keep an eye out, because I've always considered Sachi a very sort of like zen, controlled, steady climber. But we'll wait and see. But Ramon, you
Well,
think
he does the movements pretty controlled, but he's moving forward pretty fast.
Ramon de Grange, what are you thinking of him? A slower sort of style of climbing? A faster style of climbing?
Well,
what
I
you
would
say about
actually say he also is moving forward quite fast. You mean Romain or?
Ramon?
Yeah. Yeah, Roma is moving actually also forward quite fast. Sometimes when he is getting out of confidence, then he's becoming a bit too slow, and I think that's what's not good for him. But here we could also see he was moving until that point pretty fast.
Okay, so this is it now. This is the big point for him. He did take that right leg off a moment ago. He did come across a little bit more, but
And he's trying the
now
same.
he's trying the cross.
Whoa.
Now this is what I was saying earlier. Some of the taller athletes might be able to bridge here.
Wow.
And he has. He's done it statically. So
That's
there is
crazy.
a way to do it. Sean's got a massive smile on his face at the moment. There is a way to do it static then.
Well,
Which
I
is
didn't
really
expect
interesting,
that.
because that is, I don't think the route setters were expecting that. It doesn't look like it can be done. But as I was saying, if someone gets really into the wall, there's some of the taller athletes might be able to do it that way. We've just seen it done by Ramon. That's a great way of getting around the beater, and this is him pushing up now to start challenging Sean. And he doesn't look too bad. He doesn't
No,
look too
he's
pumped.
still looking quite fresh. Wow, I got really surprised about that one. I think he might take the new. Oh no!
Just slipping. Sean, at this moment now, looking a little bit panicked at the moment. Was that, I'm not sure whether that was the one before or the one
Yeah, he just fell one movement before Sean.
That's a panicked position to be in, really, isn't it?
I think this had to be very frustrating for Romain de Grange.
Absolutely. You could hear the scream that he made as he came down from the wall. Very vocal climber, but
Yeah. And
he
he
looked
still
so
looks so
strong.
good, so
he
fresh.
looked so strong, yeah. He
I
didn't
think
look
he
too
could have
pumped.
done a few movements more still. He could have done still a few movements more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he looked very much in control there. It didn't look like anything
Yeah.
was affecting him too much. He didn't look too pumped. Now this is our first, I think, definite potential top for the females.
Yeah, that's true. Now with Mina Markovic.
It's bouldering and it's lead. It's exactly what she wants. It's exactly what she's used to doing. So we wait and see. I'm surprised actually.
I think in this route she has really good possibilities to win.
I can see Ramon and Sean. It looked like Sean was trying to have a conversation with Ramon then, but Ramon's definitely just gone off and had a moment on his own, I think. Sean speaks fluent French as well, so I'm sure they'll be having a chat in a little while, but you can definitely see he's very frustrated with himself.
Oh yeah, he's so frustrated.
Sitting next to Mano at the moment.
Yeah, they're both looking quite frustrated.
op het Europees kampioenschap in Chamonix.
So Mina here then.
En als dat nog niet genoeg is, ging ze ook
I think this route also should be quite her style.
op de World Games eerder dit jaar in de zomer.
25-year-old athlete, world ranked second. She's been holding the first place ranking on the World Cup rankings and on the world rankings for many, many years. She's just been pipped down to second by Kim Gaim, who is now her main competition. Currently for this year on the World Cup rankings, though, she is in first place. That was after that big turnaround around the World Games and the time for that. Moving on then to Imst and taking the gold medal there as well. 2 silver medals, one in Chamonix at the European Championship, one at Briançon, and then the gold medal at Imst. Then the World Games that she went to and put on a fantastic performance there as well, and also then a silver medal at the Women's Bouldering European Championship in Eindhoven. So this is exactly what we were talking about. This is an athlete that is combining both of the disciplines in a perfect blend, especially considering the route setters here seem to have been really amping up the bouldery style.
Yeah, that's true. At least in the final here, it seems quite much like that, which is nice. And I think also for her in this route, it will be quite good that she is a bit one of the taller climbers.
I think it was a front that was rolling.
The long movements won't be that hard for her.
That was why she did not participate in Paris.
And then I'm curious what she's going to do up there on this big round pocket, which is so slopey.
But for the rest, she got an
This is
excellent
a
season.
possibility of getting a heel onto the lower orange triangle we can see up there, the lower orange triangle volume as you go up.
Yeah.
And then getting the left, you think maybe, or maybe the right with a heel.
Yeah, well, maybe with the right one up.
Mina Markovic.
Maybe it is possible to set the heel.
There's 2 potential places up there. We'll talk through it when we get there in a moment, but I think that could be helping. The only problem is then is where you're going from there.
Yeah.
Because the heel's helping you stay on, but it might help you secure a better position on the donut hole itself.
Yeah. But I think there definitely, if your feet swing out, you won't be able to hold it because it's just too round.
Come on, Mina.
How's everyone doing back home then? Let us know where you're tuning in from. Just a shout out to some of the people that might have been joining us in the Twitter. Jason Nasichuk saying, loving the action at Puurs tonight. Go Sean McCall, the IFSC World Cup. Clement also getting in touch on Twitter as well. Get in touch with us using the hashtag IFSCWC. Any questions you might have for either myself or Sebastian, direct them our way. As Mina, again, like we saw with Akio Noguchi, makes that big stretch move there just look so easy in this bouldering section.
But
Very
she was a
used
bit
to this.
scared of it.
No, not at all. She's just very used to this sort of style. Very much within her style. And this is the advantage that she has, I think, over Akio Noguchi, is that Mina definitely has the endurance.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Akio can occasionally struggle and get a little bit tired, a little bit quick. Mina has that endurance to go
Yeah,
through.
she has got so much endurance.
She's a lead climber who does bouldering as opposed to a boulderer who does
She
lead.
comes from lead climbing.
Which is hilarious when you consider that she trains at a bouldering only gym.
Yeah. Well, but as far as I know, also in Slovenia, they don't have so many climbing gyms. They actually have more bouldering gyms.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the same. I'm actually almost all the time training in my home bouldering wall.
I did an interview, by the way, on YouTube for anybody that's watching at the moment and hasn't seen Coffee with Mina Markovic. You can get onto the IFSC's channel and type in Coffee with Mina Markovic, and it will come up, and she's talking about the gyms that they have in Slovenia and Slovenian climbing in general. You can catch that on the IFSC's YouTube channel, where she's talking about the kind of gyms, because that was the first thing for us. It was a massive shocker to go in there and see the kind of gyms that these guys, and they're training like world-renowned #1 athletes at these tiny little garages in the middle of Poland, in the middle of Slovenia, sorry. And it's just fantastic to see. A bit of a shake here,
Yeah.
though, on the left leg. I think that might have just been because it was an awkward position there for her for a moment. There you can see where she is, just 2 moves away now.
Wow, that's a very different way to do it. But she moved backwards.
That shake's coming back in on the left leg now as well.
Yeah, I think she has to get there with the other. Oh no. The one where she's with left, she has to get it with right for sure. Otherwise, she might not be able to.
There you are, she's transferred the hands there. She's got to sort out that foot though, that foot's... It doesn't look comfortable there at all. There you are, now she's switching. Sidle or drop knee.
She could do the next movement, but she's looking now a bit pumped.
Okay,
And the next one,
what are we going to see here?
let's see what she's going
There
to
you are,
do
it's a
now.
little bit of a heel
Will
there
she do it?
on the right.
And yeah.
There we go.
She
This is
got
them
it.
now moving in to the lead position. Nice onto the next one as well. And the crowd are right
Very
behind
good.
her, but don't forget she's got a really nice tricky roof section to get through yet. There's still quite a few moves left here that she's got to get through.
And there she really has the advantage of her huge endurance. As you can see, she's now even able to rest again, even if the move before just was quite hard for her, as you could see.
Shout out to Hannah Wunsch saying back from Westway and now time for some IFSC World Cup. Nice to see you back with us again, Hannah. You're about to see Mina Markovic making a push for the top. She seems to have hit a second wind all of a sudden.
Wow,
She's-
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, and she's just going to take the hands off here and rely on that one. Up again now with the left, maybe. She's got to sort some footwork out here, rely on that right hand a bit. She's matching again.
Wow,
She's still
that was
managing to
strong.
hold it. Left arm up on this one as well. 2 moves away from her top here. This is
And
fantastic.
I think we might see
climbing.
her top here. And yeah, that's
You
the
can
top
see
from
she
Mina
wanted it.
Markovic.
She's
So
got to
strong.
clip in. Got to clip in, and then it's hers.
Now it's her.
And there it is. There were
Really
2 or 3
strong.
points there where every single move that she made could have brought her off, but she just would not let go. Completely committed to getting there. You've got Dinara Fakhretdinova giving her a round of applause down here at the moment, just like, you know, hats off to you, because that was an incredible performance towards the
Yeah,
end.
this was really incredible. Such a good fight.
That's exactly what we want to see, and she doesn't even look that flustered. She's back down on the ground like, yeah, okay. But you could see that was hard for her when she was down up at the very top there. Every single move at that last point, it just looked like she was going to go.
Yeah, but she's just the fighting ability. It's crazy. That was really strong climbing
Getting in
from
touch
her.
with some of the people that are asking some questions then, as Mina now moves over to take a position on the leader's chair, giving a bit of a chat to the team members down there. Domina was also in the finals a little bit earlier. She doesn't know yet, but she's going to have to go over to the leader's chair in a moment. Just to catch up with some of you asking some questions. Ben Holmes saying, I don't get the scoring. Please, can you tell me? Okay, so every hold, Ben, is numbered. From the very first one all the way up to the top. There is 57 in the men's route. There are 53 in the women's, all in all. And every time you reach that hold and manage to control the next hold, you get that score. So that's why the scoring system works that way. Now the plus system comes into fact where an athlete has managed to, say they've reached the 50-second hold and they've got a hand onto it, and they're powering up towards the top, but just as they're getting towards the top, they might get a couple of fingers on the top, but they just fall at that point. That would be a 52 plus as opposed to a 53. It showed that they have had positive movement past the previous hold, and they've actually almost managed to control the next hold. That gives you a plus score as well, and that can split ties for us at this point in the competition. And it really is that simple. That should hopefully clarify that for you. They of course have the timer to deal with as well. As we welcome Jakob Schubert out onto the stage, and this is the threat to Sean, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Now I'm curious what he's going to do.
So this is where Sean should start getting a little bit nervous. Jakob and Sean, both very much from the same sort of school of thought in climbing. They're both lead and boulder athletes. They're multidisciplined. Jakob, another one that will be very familiar with dynos from doing the bouldering circuit, and hopefully have the confidence to start pulling that out onto a lead wall, like we saw Sean doing a little bit earlier on. But the interesting thing is, I thought he had intended to go with the one hand, and he hadn't.
Yeah.
It just sort of happened, and then he was saying earlier that, you know, he didn't think he was going to manage to hold on to it, and then he just randomly was able to hold on to it, and then get that cross hand on.
Yeah,
And you know, it was quite
surprising.
comfortable after that point, but it wasn't what he'd intended at all. Shout out to Lucas, who's getting it up, giving some support for Jakob.
And Jakob is moving very comfortable still here, and as well quite confident, looking very strong. I think if he does the jump, it really might be his route, and it might be his time. And I think he's really waiting for a win again. Taking a little rest there. A quite uncommon one, actually, watching the persons before. Only Domin took a rest there. And now he's moving on.
Much slower though.
Yeah, it's
You know,
true,
so
much
you-
slower than the ones before.
And you know, we've seen Jakob time out before. He's gonna have to keep pushing at this one, unless of course he gets higher than Sean did. We're gonna have a quick look now. So just have a little look here about where Sean fell.
I think Sean fell actually at 39 plus here.
Around 39 plus. So
Yeah.
the dyno is 31 and 32. If you make the dyno, that's 31 and 32. Sean then pushed up to 36, and then yeah, it was around 3 moves afterwards, wasn't it? So around 39 is what Jakob has to be. It's either that or he climbs to that point faster.
Yeah.
Oh, actually no, because count back, Sean doesn't actually have the two
Yeah,
tops.
that's true, he doesn't have the top.
At the top.
And
from,
now we can see.
semis.
Yeah, he does it statically.
And a static one again. Interesting.
Yeah,
Sean
it's
has a
pretty
frown on his face.
interesting.
Seems like he's the only one that's really gone for that the big jump and made it.
En we voor het wereldkampioenschap deze Oostenrijker.
Now, how's he looking here then, Seb?
I would say he's still looking quite fresh there. He doesn't look too tired, taking a little rest. I think he really does have the potential to move far up in this route. Would be interesting to see a top here.
He's just resting here. It's obvious that he knows that the next move is big on the shoulders, a lot of compression as well. It's a big one that could get him pumped. Jakob does have the tendency to get that way.
Yeah, because he also has got lots of endurance.
This is good here for Jakob.
Really
This is nice,
strong.
big, nice pinch there for him to grab. He's got that undercling along the side edge here now as well. Oh, it's not actually that positive, is it?
No, it's not that positive.
Looked like there was a bit more there.
It's looking good, but it's not so good actually. And now the place where Roma fell.
So I believe this next one is Sean, right? This is the 4 point, and
Wow,
that's it.
he has got the next one. Whoa,
And just managing to hold the next one after it as well. Can he move on from
that
here?
was so close. Whoa, still hanging on the wall.
This is just like Mina, where like every move is painful to watch because you think
Oh,
they're going to go, and
no.
he did. But still a fantastic effort there from Sean, from
Yeah, that
Jakob
was really
Schubert.
strong.
Up to, just having a look at where he was at that point there, I believe around the 43rd hold. So a move past from Sean by about 4 moves there, and that puts him in the leader chair at the moment, which guarantees him at least a medal.
Yeah, for sure.
We have 2 more male
Really
athletes yet
strong.
to come after this.
Well, that's
But it
really
ma-
pity. His foot just slipped off there. I think if he got the next hold, he might even take a little rest there because it's some kind of pocket where you maybe could rest, I think. That was really strong.
He's just been called over. Jakob's just gone, well, where did you fall? they're just discussing it. Sean's like, oh, about 2 moves before you did. It's good to see the camaraderie with, in every single athlete that we got here. It's really nice to see the camaraderie between the two of them. The fact that they are sportsmen in the truest sense of the word. They completely are at ease with talking to each other. They are actually friends. They're all friends.
Yeah, and that's really nice to see here. And now here, moving into the slab, Momoka Oda had a quite good climb in the semifinals as well. And now we can be curious what she's going to do here. Will she be able to get another top? We'll see. She's also one of the shorter athletes here, so a few movements might be a little bit harder for her, the longer ones. But too, she's got lots of power, and as well she's got lots of endurance, so maybe she will be able to compensate that. And also she is still one of the very young athletes here, as we said before, already in semifinals. She's just 19 years old and already so strong. Last year in Singapore she was actually first in World Youth Championship,
So Momoka Oda then.
And I remember actually also it was last year in Imst, she won her first World Cup ever.
Op dit moment, en dat is op de plaats die ze bekleedt op de ranglijst van de wereldbeker. Vijfde plaats.
Yeah, it was 2012, and she was the one in at Singapore last year, in her last year of competing on the World Youth Championships as well, in the juniors category. That in the torrential rain, in the sweltering heat, in everything that everything throughout the entire competition, nothing the route setter stopped her throughout the competition. She just topped and topped and topped all the way through. Absolutely outstanding. Ended up taking the gold medal in Singapore last year as well.
Yeah, it was a really strong win there.
Yeah, it really was. Just a head and literally, a head and shoulders above everyone else. It was just an incredibly impressive climb.
For sure the strongest one in that competition.
And she's doing it here now as well. We were saying about Johanna Ernst being in the third place positioning on the world rankings, but Johanna isn't actually competing this year. So at the moment, Momoka Oda is in fourth place, but we're thinking that she'll be moving up into third pretty soon. Actually,
yeah.
She's keeping going the way
for
she
sure.
is now.
This season it should change.
Yeah. So and then there's Mina Markovic and Kim Jae-in. Those are the only two above her. She's and she's 19 years old. She's just finished competing on the youth comps.
So young.
Earlier this year, which leads her to a 5th place on the World Cup ranking. Last year she was the winner of the World
And she's still looking so fresh and relaxed here.
in the junior category. She won the World Cup stage in East.
Not having any troubles with the route so far.
And the 4th place at the World Championships in Cup.
And Mina looking a little bit nervous here, as you can see.
Well, this is the main competition, isn't it? It's Momoka or Kim Jae-in are the only two left. Mina has already guaranteed herself a medal. Both of these athletes that are sitting down at the bottom of the wall already have at least the bronze medal. Now it is a matter of literally sitting back, watching and hoping that they can move up to a silver and then a gold as we move through the next couple of climbs.
Yeah, and I really know how it is. It's so horrible if you aren't the last competitor and you have to watch the next ones and you have to worry, are you going to be the first? Are you going to be the second? Are you going to be the third? It's really, whoa. You actually get even more nervous than before climbing there. I still remember This was also in Edinburgh in 2010 when I won my second World Youth Championship title. I was the before last climber, right before Loic, and I topped out the route. And if he had topped out the route as well, there would have been a super final. And I was so nervous if I was going to be first already or if we would have some super finals.
Nice and confident still at this stage, I'd say. She doesn't look like she's in trouble too much at all. Really read the beta well through the boulder section. Now moving across here, is she going to go up with the left first and over with the right? What's she going to do? She's moving up for this hold that we've seen being bypassed by Dinara earlier on, and then Mina got herself into a bit of a tricky situation here and then got herself out of it.
And she's still looking so strong. Not really pumped.
But there you are, she's bypassed again. And I think that is a better way of doing it. It looks like, you know, if you're going to go up with the left,
effective like this.
if you're going to go up with the left and then try and cross over with the right, that's just awkward. If you're going to go up with the right and then go up right again or try and match once you've gone up with the left, it's just a bit too much faffing. It seems easier to just roll over and go straight for it.
Oh no, she just slipped off. I think she just didn't get it right with her right arm.
Now we've seen quite a few fall there, and I'm not sure what that's going to do to her positioning here. I think that could put her in second place at the moment due to countback, because the women's are a lot more. There's a lot more of a division going on than there is in the men's. Obviously, the top 5 in the men's are all tied from countback. In the women's, there are different standards moving through due to their countback scores. Now Mina Markovic was 44 plus in the semi-finals, which was tied with Momoka Oda.
Yeah, just the same.
But Momoka got to be in the second to last out because she had a plus in the qualifications. That basically, Mina Markovic and Momoka Oda have had identical climbs up until now throughout the competition. But due to countback, with Momoka Oda being as high as she was now, she should be sitting in second place. It's quite a comfortable position for her to be in at the moment, and you know she knows now that. Momoka will definitely have a medal as well here by the look of things.
For sure. And now Sachiyama here.
And now Sachi. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm curious. If he finds the static way to do it, I think he could move very far up on this route as well. I think he wouldn't like the jump, but if he is able to do it static as well, just like Jakob and Romain did before, he might really maybe even get the new high point on this route, I think, because he's super fit and strong. Well, for sure, let's wish him best of luck.
Well, looking at the world rankings at the moment, it is Jakob Schubert in second place, Sachiyama in third place, and Ramone, who is next out after Sachi, in first place at the moment. So you're looking at the world rank number 1, 2 and 3. They're all here at the competition. They're all in the final. They're all fighting for this place. At the moment, Jakob is sitting pretty on the gold medal, so he's going to be hoping that Sachi doesn't manage to push him out.
Yeah, for sure.
Sachi said to me after Imst actually that how hungry he is to get back up onto the top spot again. He's enjoying competing with Ramon. And the interesting thing is that after that happened, Jakob has become a massive contender for it as well. So I think Sachi now has his work cut out for him. He's got to not just push Ramone out the way, he's got to get rid of Jakob as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Stylistically, it's also really nice to see a massive difference between all 3 of the athletes in the number 1, 2 and 3 spot. You know, Sachi, very sinuous, very long, tall, different sort of style to Jakob, who's much more power-based. But he also has the endurance there as well, but a very different body structure, a little bit shorter than Sachi, more built. And then you've got Ramone, who's very, very, very short and just a king of endurance.
Yeah, that's true. And Sachi has such a great technique. I think he's really technical based. And he has got lots of flexibility as well. Sometimes how he's able to stretch his legs from one to the other foothold, it's impressive. And here he's still looking quite relaxed actually on this point of the wall. not pumped at all.
Well, this is it then. Let's see how he tries to go about this one. He spent quite a lot of the time earlier on his own, moving around, not really talking to the other guys about what he was going to do here. And we were saying one of the advantages that Sean had was that he had been chatting to the other boys and had Jakob around and Magnus around and some of the others that were saying, okay, this is what we think we're going to do. He is doing it that way again.
Yeah, I think he's trying to do the same actually.
Not quite confident on that foot at the moment though, is he?
No, he didn't really get inside of the position there.
Just tucked his heel of the left foot back into a heel hook there for a moment.
And I think now he might try to jump, I'm not so sure. Now what he's going to do. Is he going to jump or will he do it static?
Still with that heel on. You think he's got some doubt settling in here maybe? Could be overthinking this. He knows he's got to rest because he knows it's going to get into about 3 or 4 really powerful moves if he makes the jump after that. At the moment,
and I think he
he's not
wants
quite sure
to try the jump actually.
I'm just waiting for that heel to come off. Is he going to keep the foot on?
Yeah,
and he made it as well.
That was amazing.
Absolutely fantastic.
Really good jump from him.
To do with the height as well, because you know I was saying earlier, I thought if you keep that foot on, you're gonna go down, and he didn't. He made
but he didn't. He was doing it like that.
But that was a huge jump.
Yeah, it was a huge jump, but it looked very precise and really effective.
It's sort of like perfectly executed.
Yeah,
like he knew exactly what he was doing, which is surprising. I did not expect to see that from Sachi.
No, me neither. Not at all.
Now he's currently got 3 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock. There's plenty of time. If he can make this, so this next one's going to be a big one as well. Has he got the shoulder power to commit to this move? It's a big one.
Ooh.
Yep. Trying the foot instead, trying to not rely on the hands quite so much. Wrong hand
doing
up
there
here.
Another way.
Yeah,
But he
he's
can
matching
match.
that. It's another way of doing it, you know. Different beater there. Might even be a better way. He could have saved himself some on the right arm there by putting the foot up instead.
Yeah.
Using that. He's not spent so long compressing, you know, relying on the power there that he's going to get himself too pumped. And the pressure is now definitely back on Jakob.
Yeah, for sure.
He's looking good here. Sachi's looking really good.
And I'm curious about these next 2-3 movements.
Tough move now.
No. I think this hold is really hard.
That move, we saw it looked like Jakob was going to fall at that point as well.
I thought Jakob was falling there, but he
managed
still holding.
I know, yeah. And there with Sachi, you can see that is again another really, really tough move.
Yeah, it's really tough, this movement.
Shout out to Mariana that's joining us on Twitter. Glad you're enjoying it. Shout out as well to Hannah Wunsch, who's talking about Jakob's effort earlier and just saying how nice that was as well. If you want to get in touch with us, you can get onto Twitter and use the hashtag IFSCWC. Hopefully you're all having a good time. We've seen some crazy routes here so far. Some really good efforts from all of the athletes competing. That now means that I believe Sean has himself a medal, does he? I'm confused.
Well, right now he does. It depends on Ramon actually.
Just trying to think, was that the same move that Sean fell on, or was it a little bit, I think it was further, was it not?
No, I think it's actually pretty the same.
But due to count back, it means that Sean is actually out. Okay, so yeah, at the moment Sean's currently sitting in bronze, Sachi's in silver, and Jakob is in gold. But we've got Ramon yet.
Yeah, it all depends on him.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he's going to do the jump or if he will try the static way, but I think he is actually not even able to do the static way. He's too short for that.
That's exactly what I think, yeah. He doesn't have the height that the other athletes have, that he can't rely on.
So he will have to risk.
When we were talking about it at the start of the competition, saying, you know, there could be a way that you can do that static if you had the height. We saw Ramon de Grange do it.
Yeah.
Leaning yourself into the wall, really getting close close and then statically reach over, which is exactly what we saw happen. And then again, you know, we've seen it. We see it a few moments ago as well from.
Six times winner of the Asian Championships. Came from Korea.
From Jakob, there we are. Just at the moment there. 2 ahead of who was the other one that did it with the static side? It was Jakob.
Yeah.
Well, the pressure now moves over onto the female final. Our last athlete out, Kim Jae-in, out now for this one, and I think she's going to have a good run here. I mean, she's done a lot of bouldering this year, stopped after Mio with the knee injury, but she has climbed the other discipline as well.
Yeah.
And for this one, she is a lead climber who also does bouldering, as opposed to a boulderer who also does lead, which is what we saw from Nakia Noguchi, and the endurance just wasn't there. Well, Kim's definitely got the endurance.
Yeah, she's got so much endurance.
She's also got an extremely broad 8 index. So this point up there that we saw Akio just looked so easy with that big reaching moves on this one. Shouldn't be a problem for Kim Jae-in
No, I
at
don't
all.
think so. I think she's going to move through this quite well. I'm very curious about the top section there. First of all, with the big slopey pocket, how is she going to manage it also with her size, because this movement will be very long for her, and also the foothold position on the right will be quite low for her. So I'm curious if she will be able to do this. And then after that, the next movements are just about the endurance, I think. So it would be quite interesting to see if she gets over that point, what's going to happen.
The thing is, she's just such a powerhouse in climbing in general, because she has the strength, she has the endurance, but her technique is also incredible.
Yeah, she has an
you
incredible
watch
technique.
the placement of the feet as she goes up now on this one through the next couple of sections. You can see that she uses the perfect beat at nearly every time. It's very rare that you see her getting into a position where she's not thought ahead where she needs to go and found the right way of doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Is she on her way to victory? To another victory.
So I'm sure, you know, when we're talking about getting up to the pocket, the donut towards the top, I'm sure she'll find a place of putting her feet or finding some way around that.
Yeah, that would be really cool and interesting to see.
Now, of course, Mina must be extremely worried here, because the difference between them, just to give you a perspective on that one,
Just
is
one move.
is a half.
Yeah, actually a
That's the
half. It's not
that's
even one move.
That's the difference at the moment. To count back to semi-finals, it's not even a full move. The difference is that Kim Jae-in did a score of 45 in the semi-finals, and Mina Markovic had a 44 plus.
Yeah, it's so
And
close.
that's the division at the moment.
Almost nothing there.
So if Kim can top, it's hers, and if she can't, then Mina goes home with the gold medal. So it's all on this one. Watch Kim Jae-in. You can see the exact precision of her footwork.
Yeah,
She pays just as much attention to her feet as she does
So
with her hands.
so precise. And now the very long movement for her. And she does it so easy.
Because she's got that 8 index. That's what I'm talking about. The broad reach there that allows her to just quick little pop, and she's got it. On to the next one.
And also she has got lots of core power. And she doesn't look pumped at all.
No, not
So
completely
pressure
focused.
relaxed.
The only danger for her ever really is timing out, I think, more than anything. Either that or a sudden surprise.
But at the moment, she's got 3 minutes 30 left on the clock still, and that's plenty of time to get to the top here.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of time. I think Mina had taken more time
By
till
this
that
point.
point.
Yeah. Well, she's getting towards about 6 moves away from that point that you're interested to see here, Seb, the donut point.
And she's looking so good and strong still. Always getting on long arm.
Kim has just opened up a climbing centre over in Korea with the two brothers,
Yeah.
organising that out there as well. So if you are ever over that way, South Korea, make sure you pop down. I think, is it Mokpo? I think it is actually in Mokpo. I've got to check.
really?
No, it's Seoul. It's Seoul. Where she's from, she's just bought their own gym there, and they've just started setting it out. There's loads of pictures up on Facebook the other day of them. They've decked out this area. It looks really, really good.
That's cool.
You know, you want to go and climb on some routes that Kim has set. You know.
And now it's getting interesting. Wow, look how she's able to hold
The
this
pitch,
one.
that's
It's
exactly
so
what I
crazy.
just tried. The two of us
Nobody
both
was
just
able
started.
to do it like that.
The two of us just started pointing at the screen. Look, look. No palm on that at all. That pinch was just pure thumb and fingertip.
Yeah.
She's doing it again with the right now.
And she's
Remember.
still looking so strong.
Yeah.
I hope she will do this movement. And yeah, she's still on it.
Let's now concentrate a little bit on the foot placement of where she's
So
going from
strong.
here. Not relying on this hold, making sure she's here before she clips in.
And she's still looking fresh. That's unbelievable.
She's starting to shake out a little bit there on the right hand.
But she's still looking fresher than Mina did there
Absolutely,
before.
yeah, by far.
So
Absolutely.
amazing.
She's really paced herself well. She's got 1 minute 30 left on the clock and only about 5 more moves to go. She's got to concentrate here though. Mina really had to push for these last few moves. Let's hope that Kim doesn't make any
there.
quick mistakes here. And got to focus.
Whoa.
So controlled.
So controlled, so relaxed still. It's amazing. And she got the next
This is
one.
good, and this is where Mina starts to get worried. She's got a little smirk on her face, Mina has at the moment. There it is.
So easy.
Quick
So
cliff,
easy.
and that's it for Kim Jae-in.
Wow.
Another gold medal to add to her belt.
That was
proving,
an awesome cup.
proving exactly why she's world #1 at the moment. Fantastic
Really nice.
climb.
That was a fantastic
Like
climb,
a
for sure.
perfect climb.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Like there was nothing wrong with any
Not
of it.
any mistake. Everything perfect.
No
Was so
stress
nice.
moments, no point where neither of us said throughout that entire climb, oh, that's a little bit of a tricky point.
Yeah, it was so confident and all over just relaxed. And she's so happy.
The
Really
way
nice.
she controls herself at the bottom of the wall as well. But you see there, she doesn't take a moment. She's doing it again though. Watch her on the face. She wants to let loose. She keeps switching to this moment of just scrunching up her face and going, oh my god. And then she just makes herself calm down.
Yeah.
Keeps being controlled. She always bows, she always waves, she always smiles. I absolutely think she's a genius. She is a genius.
Yeah.
And she's so small compared to some of the other athletes, and it just doesn't matter. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really nice for her.
A definite friendship between these two athletes as well. Seeing Mina Markovic and Kim Jae-in more and more, you know, because they are challenging each other all the way through, constantly. The two of them challenging each other. They have become friends, but they're there now chatting. They'll be there throughout the next climb. And I really like that. I like that these athletes get on so well, even at the very top level, where the competition is the most intense.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there we are. We have our medals and we have our positions for the female climbing. Then it's looking like it will be the only thing that's changed is that Momoko Oda and Mina Markovic have switched places. So we've got Kim Jae-in with the gold medal. We've got Mina Markovic in silver place and Momoko Oda in the bronze.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, Denara, who was holding the high point, was just slipped out of the medals there. No harm in that though. Down into 4th place.
And now Raman on
And
the
now
wall.
Ramone.
I'm so curious about him.
Yeah,
Would
the
be
jump
nice
is going to be a
to
big point.
see him
isn't it?
doing the jump. Yeah. Yeah, I would really like him to see doing it.
Place on the World Cup ranking. And final rank last year in 2012. And also in 2011.
Okay, Ramone then, our last climb here, and this is for the medals. This is to challenge Jakob Schubert.
2008, 2010 and 2012.
But this is what he did in the semi-finals. He was just
Yeah.
so strong, just
Yeah.
just relying on the one arm every now and then. Just
Yeah, he's
not
got
worried.
lots of power. And mainly endurance. It's extreme, not comparable to anybody, I would say.
but you know what I think? Not stylistically, but he is like, or Kim Jae-in is the female version of him, I'd say.
Yeah,
You know, he's
in
been
some
around
way.
longer than Kim. You know, they're both very, very short. They both have a good AP index. They're both exceptionally strong, very controlled, and confident. They have the confidence to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Ramon, every time, you know, just keep seeing him. And Arco as well, he did the same thing. Just one-handed moves, you know.
Arco,
relies
that
on
was
his
so
arm.
impressive, Arco. Watching him popping out the route there. At the end with the rope, almost not able to pull it anymore. But to making it up there, it was really impressive.
Such a long route as well.
Yeah, it was huge.
And the only one that topped it.
Yeah.
If you want to catch up on Arco or on any of the IFSC World Cups that we've been covering over the past year or so, you can get yourself onto our YouTube channel, IFSC there, have a little look. And you can watch Arco, you can watch the Rockmaster, you can watch any of the previous things that we've covered, and of course, if you're not with us right now, you might be watching this event on replay as well. If you are, hello to you. Shout out to Cam saying awesome win for Kim Jae-in, making it worthwhile for me to be up at 3 a.m. in the morning because Cam's over in Australia at the moment. He's still with us. Hardcore, Cam, I'm liking it. Hardcore.
Deze man was erbij in Colombia afgelopen zomer. Waar hij goud pakte op de World Games in Cali.
I still cannot get over that last climb.
Yeah,
that
it
was what I would call a
so
perfect
awesome.
climb.
And now Ramon,
And now this
getting
is the point.
close
His
to
attention
the
starts
jump.
to build. Here it is. Okay.
I really want him to do this move. Would be so cool to see it. That would be the very first jump that I saw from him.
Well, yeah, I cannot remember seeing Ramon do a dyno. I don't think, you know, unless he's going to really rely on his shoulders here. But I don't know how he's going to reach to that
Look
next point.
on his arm, his biceps, it's so extremely defined.
Yeah. Yeah, his level of fitness is extreme.
Yeah, it's
at the very
incredible.
least. As one of the older athletes as well, Ramon.
Yeah, I think he's actually one of the oldest ones.
Yeah, he's 31 years old, world ranked number 1, fighting off the youth.
And what he's going to do. Ooh. No.
You could tell he wasn't particularly happy there. It wasn't his style. It looks like he might have pulled a little bit on the left arm there. Didn't look happy with his left arm. I've seen him do that before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was it Arco or somewhere recently? I've seen him being a little bit concerned about one of his arms. And there again with that reach there, I think he might have jarred something a little bit. Just wasn't his style. Real shame there. The only thing he could have done due to his height was go for the dyno. The problem was he just wasn't in the right position.
Yeah, I think he really just should have jumped there. I think this was not the way it was possible for him.
Two-handed, gone with both the arms, you know. I hope he hasn't had sustained an injury there at all.
Yeah.
On the left hand, the left
And
arm.
he's looking quite angry there.
That might be a rope burn, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a rope burn.
Okay,
luckily it's nothing
that's
about
all
his
right.
biceps. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Rope
that's not
burns
nice to
can
wish
happen.
on someone. I'm not wishing it on him, but I think that is a rope burn.
Yeah. Well, it's not nice to wish that, but it's way better than an injury.
Absolutely, yeah. If you got some sort of strain, that could have been a problem. He's having a nice chat now with Tony, who's his coach there. You can see in front of him, Ramone, not looking too happy at all. But there we are, Jakob Schubert with a gold medal here, and also Kim Jae-in with a gold medal as well. Fantastic performances from every single athlete out here. Even the ones that didn't quite make it or didn't quite get to the point that they wanted to. I know a lot of them might be a bit frustrated because the dyno has been the thing that stopped them. But you know, every single athlete that's reached this stage and every single athlete that's performed for us tonight and competed here and in the finals in Puurs just put on such a strong show. We're going to have a brief look now at the results as they are. This is the women's finalists then. So yeah, it is as we thought. Kim Jae-in in first place, Mina Markovic takes the silver, and Momoka Oda takes the bronze medal here. Danara just missing out on that place. Akio though here in fifth. Anak in 6th, which is great for
Yeah,
her.
that's-
Her first
that's
final,
so
she's
nice.
not last, you know?
Yeah, that's really strong.
So fantastic result for her with 38 plus as well. It's not even by division. She's nice and in the middle. She's got her own score there as well. Ellen Janiko didn't have too good a climb, and Magdalena obviously that big shocker for her that she wasn't expecting that at all. Just didn't quite manage it.
And again, such a big shock. That's really a pity for her. I think it must be a bit frustrating after Briançon, where it already happened quite similar, and just before that in Chamonix. So let's hope she will get out of this hole of heats and finals.
And then for the men's, it is Sean that manages to hold on to the bronze medal place there. So he'll be pleased with that one. There's Jakob Schubert then in the gold medal position, which is fantastic to see him fighting back at it again.
Yeah.
Sachiyama in second place, taking the silver. Sean McCall takes the bronze. Ramon de Grange, after the disappointment, still in fourth place. And via division as well, he made it across. He did that static transfer. Manu in fifth. Magnus Midbo in 6th, Ramon Julian all the way down in 7th, Min Hyunbin in 8th, and Domin Skopic in 9th. So we have the 9 athletes here due to the tie, and look at them, the bottom 4 all 30 plus.
Yeah, that's true. Lots of persons fell on 30 plus.
Really interesting, and the tie for the first and second, for the second and third place is purely due to countback.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
39 plus, they're tied on that one, but Sean didn't get the top in the semi-finals that Sachi got. So that's the division there, but Jakob there, look, he's 5 moves ahead. Fantastic performance.
Yeah, that's really fantastic for him. I think it's really nice that he finally could win a competition again. I think
it has been a while, hasn't it? I mean, he had the I'm trying to think for the bouldering, because I've got Jakob's bouldering scores in my head. Recent scores for Jakob, because he took the silver medal at the bouldering in Chongqing, but I'm thinking about the lead. Imst was the silver. Imst was the silver medal for him. So it's nice now that he's had the gold again.
Yeah.
It's taken a while because he's our world champion. You know, from Bercy in Paris.
Yeah, I still remember this. It was such an amazing show there.
But it has been a while, since then, for him to get a gold on the lead. It was Kran at the end of last year as his last gold. So now he gets one again, about halfway through the season for the lead, and he's back on form again. It's great to see Jakob fighting through.
Just back on stage.
Yeah, really nice. He's obviously fallen back into the trainings, the set training for lead climbing again after being on the bouldering circuit for such a long amount of time. It must have just taken him a little while to adjust to the season.
Yeah, it's just so much in one season, doing so many competitions, a whole bouldering season together with a whole lead season. I think it's really hard, and I think it's just so nice that he really got back on stage again. And today was just a great performance from him. I think the one who will be really disappointed with himself is Romain de Grange about his foot slip. I think he also expected lots more than this, but well, I guess those things happen. Let's wish him best for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you all the way through today, Sebastian. Thank you very much for being with us. Sebastian Helenki here from Germany has been commentating through the semis and the finals with us. Thank you for your technical support.
Thank you a lot. Have a nice evening.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
We're going to hand over for in a few moments' time then to the award ceremony. The athletes will be coming out to collect their medals. I will then grab a couple of chats with the athletes, a couple of interviews with them before we say goodbye to you. So I'll be chatting to a few of those in a brief moment's time. In a few moments we'll have the award ceremony. So stick around, guys. A little bit more yet to come. I'll see you in a few.
Een heerlijke wereldbeker was het dus opnieuw met gisteren de kwalificatieronde. En daarin spanning en emotie, ook bij de Belgen. 3 Belgen haalden het tot in de halve finale vandaag. Dat waren Lloyd Timmermans bij de mannen en Mathilde Brumaille en Annak Verhoeven bij de vrouwen. Vanmorgen dan een hoogstaande halve finale gezien waarin 5 mannen konden toppen. En dan nu de climax, letterlijk en figuurlijk hier in Puurs. Ladies and gentlemen, medal award ceremony. Please welcome the medal winners in the women's competition. Dat was even om te testen of u wakker was. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the medal winners in the women's competition. Hier zijn ze, dames en heren, de 3 medaillewinnaressen van de wereldbekermanche in Puurs. Third place and bronze medal winner from Japan, Momoka Oda. Momoka will get her medal from the IFSC delegates, Vincent Cossé. En daar komt ook nog een prijs bij, die zal worden uitgereikt door de man van Petzl, een van de hoofdsponsors van deze wereldbeker, Werner Lobach. Second place and silver medal winner from Slovenia, Mina Markovic. And there is a medal awarded by the IFSC delegates, Mr. Vincent Cosset. And a nice present, which she can't bring with her hand luggage. De prijs die wordt overhandigd door de schepen van sport van de gemeente Puurs, dat is Erwin Species. And first place and winner of the World Cup in Puurs 2013, Jae Kim. Well-deserved gold medal. Two ladies who reached the top. Unfortunately, for one of them it was a little bit too late. And something to drink for Jae Kim as well. Presented by the president of Klimmenberg Sportfederatie, Tuur Keulis. And we all rise, ladies and gentlemen, for the national anthem of South Korea. Ladies, thank you very much. You were awesome. Thanks for the great show. Congratulations. One more medal award ceremony to go. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the medal winners in the men's competition. Third place and bronze medal winner from Canada, Sean McCall. Well-deserved medal given by the IFSC delegates, Mr. Cosset, and a present for tonight. You never know what happens if he becomes thirsty. Een prijs die wordt overhandigd door Jean-Louis Vignol, de voorzitter van CMBL. Second place and silver medal winner from Japan, Sachi Ama. Een podium dat hij kent en waar hij al zo vaak heeft gestaan. Op wereldbekerwedstrijden en andere internationale toernooien. De voorzitter van de sportraad van de provincie Antwerpen is hier ook bij ons, François Bruindongs. En hij zorgt ervoor dat Sachi Ama niks tekort komt vanavond. Tenminste als hij dorst heeft. And first place. And winner of the World Cup in Puurs 2013 from Austria, Jakob Schuberts. Jakob, here is your gold medal. Congratulations. and something to drink offered by the president of Bergsportvereniging Klein Brabant, Mr. Koen de Laat. And we all rise, ladies and gentlemen, for the national anthem of Austria. Dames en heren, Sean McCall, Sakshi Amma en Jacob Schubert. Congratulations, gentlemen. En de vrouwen die komen er nog heel even bij, hun mannelijke collega's feliciteren. En dat geeft ons de gelegenheid om nog een klein afscheidswoordje aan u te richten.
Ja, beste vrienden, voor de zoveelste keer is de World Cup in Puurs een succes. En ere wie ere toekomt, zonder BVKB was er geen World Cup in België. Volgend jaar is er geen World Cup in Puurs, maar dat betekent niet dat we gaan inslapen. Integendeel, we zetten een stapje terug om verder en hoger te kunnen springen in 2015. Ik mag hopen dat daartegen Climax 3 een feit zal zijn. Namens de Klim- en Bergsportfederatie en ook namens CMBEL, de Belgische federatie, en onze Franstalige vrienden van de Club Alpin Belge en onze Nederlandse collega's van de Nederlandse Klim- en Bergsportfederatie, hartelijk proficiat voor die meer dan 100 medewerkers aan dit prachtig evenement. Dank u wel.
Goedenavond beste mensen. Als laatste en als organisator wil ik jullie graag nog eens bedanken om massaal af te komen naar deze fantastische wereldbeker. En in het bijzonder wil ik de 200 vrijwilligers van de club en de sympathisanten die de afgelopen 12 maanden hard gewerkt hebben aan dit succes in het bijzonder danken. We zijn bijzonder trots op onze medewerkers en ze hebben er weer een van de beste edities ooit van gemaakt. En ik wil graag een warm applaus voor iedereen die dit gerealiseerd heeft. Proficiat, dank u.
Climbers, thank you very much. Time to party, I think. Have fun tonight. Thanks for the great show. Dames en heren, u bent bedankt. Graag tot een volgende keer. Het zal geen wereldbeker zijn volgend jaar, maar ze toveren wel iets anders uit hun mouw. Nog even meegeven voor wie geïnteresseerd is. Morgenavond een verslag van deze wereldbeker op RTV, de regionale televisie. Maar u kan dat overal bekijken in Vlaanderen en in Nederland en overal ter wereld ook via internet. Vanaf 7:30 denk ik op rtv.be een uitgebreid verslag dus van de wereldbeker. Graag tot een volgende keer. Bye bye.
So seductive. I take you to the
Well, there we have it, guys. An incredible competition there. Just a couple of seconds and we'll be having a brief chat with our two winners. An incredible competition throughout from all athletes. I am now joined by Kim Jae-in of Korea. Kim, how was the climb? Was it a good climb?
일단 준결승에서 침착하게 잘해서 결승에서 마지막으로 해서 조금 긴장을 하긴 했는데 그래도 등반 할 때는 이상하게 되게 마음이 편했던 것 같고 그만큼 더 집중도 잘 할 수 있었던 것 같고요. 그리고 이번이 진짜 벨기에에서 2010년부터 올해까지 네 번째 우승이라는 게 너무 믿겨지지 않을 만큼 너무 좋고 무엇보다 완등으로 우승을 해서 네, 너무 행복합니다. 네.
And now for the guys that are watching in English, how was it for you? Was it a hard climb, a good climb?
English? In the final, I don't know why, but I feel very comfortable, so I can more concentrate. So I'm so happy. This time I got 4 gold medal in Belgium. I cannot believe, and I'm so happy I got the complete the route. Yeah, so happy.
It looked very easy for you. You're saying you were very confident, you were very comfortable on the wall. Was there any point on the wall that you thought it might be a bit hard? Was there any particular move that you thought was going to be difficult, or was it all very much easy for you?
I think most hard move is the middle is there's a very big move. Even I couldn't see the hold, it's very hard. So I just believe me and jump. So yeah.
So that was the hardest point,
Yeah.
but you were okay with it?
Yeah, but I had a lot of fun today.
It looked so easy for you. It looked very like you were very calm, in control of what you were doing. Where do you go now? Are you going home for a bit before we go over to China?
Actually,
Perm. We have Perm, of course, coming up in Russia.
yeah.
Of course. Are you going straight to Russia?
I will move to Innsbruck tomorrow and train few days and go to Russia.
Are you training with anyone? Are you going to see some of the Austrian climbers and climb with them for a bit, or is it just you and the team are going to Innsbruck to climb?
I will go to with my brother Zabi, and in the Innsbruck there are so many strong climber and also so many very fun routes. So I'm really excited.
Kim, thank you very much. Congratulations on the gold medal.
Much. Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say to anybody else watching back home in Korean?
완등할 수 있어서 너무 기쁘고요. 그리고 늦은 시간까지 응원해 주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 네, 러시아 대회 때도 더 즐거운 등반 많이 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Kim, thank you very much. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kim Jae-in, great to speak to her as well, and a high five from my brother there. Just 2 seconds, you just missed it. Kim Jae coming across as well. I'm going to call Jakob up and have a brief chat with him now as well about this. The first win this year. Here he comes, our gold medalist. Absolutely outstanding. What a climb. How was it for you?
Yeah, I'm really happy right now. Obviously, it's my first lead victory this season. It's really important for me and gives me a lot of confidence again. And yeah, I'm amazed right now.
Now that route was insane, right?
Yeah, the route was actually really cool to climb, but hard from the first move on. I thought actually we thought the start's gonna be okay, but it felt quite hard from right from the first move on. It was kind of greasy and all the holes looked kind of big, but there were always only like a small crimp on it. So, and yeah, I'm happy that I decided really fast on that jump, and obviously I had like an advantage there with my size. I'm like, it sounds funny, but I was the tallest person in this final, and I think it was like, yeah, it was a lot of my style, that route, and I could fight a lot. I think the last 3 moves I've done were really hard, and yeah, I'm happy that it was enough.
I hadn't spotted that you were the tallest person in the final. I thought it was Ramon de Grange that was taller than you, but
yeah, I'm not sure, but I think I'm the tallest one. Yeah.
So that was what made the decision for you to do that a little bit more static than we saw, for example, Sean going for.
In the observation, we actually all planned it like that. I don't know, like I was even saying like maybe I can even reach it from the higher one, but no one was talking about a jump. I don't know, we all didn't see the jump, and after like hearing the crowd from while some people climbing, it was like, oh, and we're like, maybe they're jumping. I don't know, because it's like a sign, you know. So then that was like the first thing where we actually like thought of jumping, and I told Sachi, hey Sachi, maybe we actually have to jump. But when I was there, I thought like, nah man, you stay with the old beta, and I was pretty sure I can reach it, and I got that toe hook, and for my size, it was pretty good like that.
And then into that really difficult shouldery move with the compression across the block. That's a lot of power used in that one. The next move after the dyno section.
Yeah.
And the one after that as well. And then you had the next one up. There was the one that you were really, really fighting to hold on to, which is almost another dyno a little bit further up. Just hard from the off and all the way through.
Yeah, it was like the last, like I said, like the last 3-4 moves I've done, they felt really hard to me. Like that jump where Sachi fell, I like barely hold on to it, and then like coming into this, it's just so steep there. So you're like almost like coming off all the time. That's why like that move was hard again, and then I could fight a lot, and then in the end my heel hook slipped. That's why I was like upset for a second, because I knew I could have done like 2 more moves, and I thought it would be really important, because I knew like Ramon and Sachi are in a really good shape as well, and it's going to be really hard to win here. But like, yeah.
We've seen a nice combination of bouldering style and also lead style at this event, all the way through. Some of the semi moves, you know, about midpoint on the wall, we're using more bouldering type moves. And again, for this one, with that kind of dyno jump, you know, the big compression move and onwards of that. Have you enjoyed the combination of the two?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I think we have had like a lot of total endurance routes in this season, and I always like to come to Puurs, because here is always the style a little differently. It's so steep, that's why you can't like only have crimps all the way up. It's more like pinches, powerful, and yeah, this time also some long moves, some jumps, and I really enjoy that, and it's also more like my style.
So a gold now on the bouldering, a gold now on the lead as well. On to Russia, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like there are some more comps coming, and yeah, I'm really psyched, and obviously this gives me a lot of more motivation and confidence, and yeah, I'm ready.
Jakob, congratulations, well done, a gold medal.
Thanks a lot, man. See ya.
Jakob Schubert, a brief conversation with him as well. So that concludes our coverage here in Perm. It is in Puurs. Getting my events mixed up. You have to wait for that one. It's now getting dark here at the venue as well. The athletes have finished up. They get to go and have a meal and relax and rest for a few days before Perm. We will, of course, be back with Perm next week. So I hope you can come and join us for that one as well. Thank you to Sebastian Halenki, who's been co-coming with me all the way through today. Thank you for you guys for sticking with us all the way through to the end. I'm Daniel Finn. From all of us here at the team, thank you and good night.